But this intro song is kind of feeling dated.
Yeah.
It's like it's been here the whole time.
I think we have some fun upgrades to show people.
Hey guys, it's Friday and it's a day to celebrate. It's the day before Saturday.
It's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. Obviously, it's not just me on screen opening up. We also have Aaron Urquhart, your TPS underscore bike cart, the guru of all things parking enforcement related.
That's right. So I'm trying to post this story before we go live, and it wants me to do it as a post.
It's not allowing you. Oh, that's not fun. We're trying to promote the show. Well, welcome, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Now we were overly happy-go-lucky in the start because we're talking about what's about to happen, and I found something online this morning. I'm on a mailing list all about AI, and AI is cool. And I found something called Suno, and Suno allows you to write. Well, it writes music, then it creates the song and the vocals and everything just based on just typing in a prompt of like, hey, TikTok Traffic Cop song. So
yeah, it's like ChatGPT, but like for
exactly
producing music.
So
how cool.
What's that? Oh, someone said it's crackly as heck. Are we having a problem with our audio? Hang on a second. Audio alert bad. Well, I'm glad that. Because we're not connected.
Audio bad alert.
No, it's amazing. That's so that
we love
I
that.
think we fixed this. I think we fixed that. I appreciate that, Chase, as per usually. This was happening is there was some, I don't know, I rebooted, so we got all the audio coming through the camera, and you missed out on everything. But there we go. Now we're fixed. At least one thing is fixed. We'll see what's going to happen next. Lucas, good morning. Neha, good morning. And Neha says, fun fact, I've met you both.
Oh, yes. Hi, Neha.
And just checking to see, we see the okay, we're firing on all cylinders because the link to TikTok is working. I'm very happy. That is a way to start the Friday off with a good start.
Yes.
Good morning to Evandro coming in through LinkedIn. Good morning to Paul, who says happy Friday. Greetings and salutations from Michaela Draconis, but who has to miss the show today. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, but we do have dad jokes that have been sent in on his behalf. Well, he sent them in, so we flagged them for later. Corey Wilkins says, good morning, and actually, I added the good morning. It's just happy Friday, everyone. Looks like I'm not even second in the chat today. Yeah, you're slipping, sir. You're slipping. Tim Shallow, good morning, good morning, Sean, and happy Friday, and good morning to Aaron, too.
Good morning.
But yes, we had the alert from Chase, our unofficial moderator and audio engineer, who says the audio was rough, and then we fixed it, thank goodness. We've got Michael, who says, greetings, the good constable and the good PEO.
Love that.
But then, yes, yeah, I started calling Sergeant Campbell the good sergeant, and then it's grown into something else.
It's just gone into a domino effect.
It is. We're all the good everybody.
We are the goods.
Julie says, good morning, happy Friday. And let's see here. We got hello there from Dronax2. Tien says, good morning. Austinator Reed says, good morning. Chase is now approved the all good and better audio. Michael acknowledging the audio was bad. LinkedIn user who is anonymously sending this message and says, morning, Officer Shapiro. Thank you for what you do and for your colleagues and all the ladies. Happy International Women's Day.
Oh, it's
you beat me to it. Happy International Women's Day. And to my wife who's at home watching, happy International Women's Day. Obviously, the balloons and flowers and plants will come later. Happy Friday.
I'm not getting that.
You're not
What?
getting any of that? Oh, there are rules. There are rules that must be followed. We've got happy Friday, Aaron from Corey. And then M. Devos says, hey, Sean, you have a twin, I think, in traffic services. I thought it was you until he said it wasn't. Oh, I wonder who that was. Now, it could have been my buddy in Motor Squad. There's a couple of guys in Motor Squad that kind of fit the bill, but there's only one of me, and they're individuals too. But I wonder who it was now. I'm sure I'll get a text. That was from M. Devo. Then Mickey says, hi from Peterborough. And Chase says, fun fact, I met you both too. That's too funny. Northern Pike, who says, good morning, everyone. Jerry Ireland McCarty says, good morning, all. Now, is Jerry Ireland because you're in Ireland, or is this all naming convention? I need to know. I was in Ireland last year. Okay.
So was I.
That's right.
That's where I got
We were not
engaged.
there at the same time.
No.
What do you think about Pop Ottawa incident? The Pop Ottawa incident?
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
The incident that happened in Ottawa yesterday with 6 casualties
Oh,
in
my
a
goodness.
home with 4 children. Yeah.
Okay, I did hear base. I didn't know
I
it was
don't know
in
what
Ottawa.
the POP was. I don't know what that stands for, though.
Yeah. Either way, when people die, it's a tragedy, and when it's something, and I don't know the details, so I don't want to get into it because I haven't read about it. But anytime someone dies, it's sad. Odo wants to know if we're a couple. We are not a couple. We both have significant others that are not here on screen, but we do work together. Let's see here. People. So, okay. Dad joke from Nihao. We'll flag that for later. Are Opticom transmitters illegal in Ontario? These are the transmitters that trigger traffic lights to change. I'm assuming I'm making a jump that Opticom transmitters are that. I could easily find out. I have the Google. Transmitter. Let's see what it is. I think it is. Yeah, these are the flashing lights that would trigger in some jurisdictions to change the traffic signals to give them priority. It's for police and fire in some jurisdictions. We don't use them in most places. Now they're moving to a Bluetooth, RF, and encoded signal to provide Anyway, they wouldn't be legal on a vehicle. You couldn't mess with those systems. It would be wrong. We got good morning. Currently on an interlude between school bus charter runs. That's Richard. Good morning to you. Dronax wants to know what the topic is going to be. Well, I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, and Aaron is the guru of all things parking.
That's right.
So we'll
parking questions, send them over to me.
Granted, it's parking in the city of Toronto because it's different in different jurisdictions.
Yes.
So yes, get your questions ready. We got good morning office. I'm sure there was an R intended to be at the end, so good morning to you. Heidi says, I know I necessarily don't live in Toronto, but I had a question to ask. You're absolutely entitled to ask questions. Laws that we talk about are primarily Ontario-wide. Some are Canada-wide, and some are Toronto-specific when it comes to bylaws like parking. So we can talk about it all. Throw your questions our way, and we'll see what we can do for you. Paul Toronto says, good morning, guys, with a GM. Now, I said Toronto, which makes me think of all the videos I've watched that we don't say Toronto. It's Toronto. Toronto. And that's just the way it is. In fact, I think at the border, if you say anything other than Toronto, they pull you over.
They're going to turn you around, yeah.
They know you're not from here. But when I read a name, I want to, anyway. Okay, we're getting into some questions, but I want to first take a moment to discuss the very magical folks over at the Vision Zero enforcement team. Hang on a second.
Laughing at one of the, it's a positive thing. Nia says, "Slay, happy International Women's Day." Slay, honey, yes.
Okay. I'm not down with the lingo. I know what it means. I just don't get it. Vision Zero enforcement team, wrong button there. Vision Zero enforcement team, those magical group of officers that go out to change driver behavior one ticket at a time. They're out there to give you those tickets because those tickets remind you that it wasn't a fun experience getting caught and you don't want to do it again. And hopefully that motivates you to, well, not do it again. What are we talking about in particular? We're talking about people who choose to speed, drive aggressively, drive distracted, drive impaired. Those are the things that lead to serious injury and death on our roads. Thus, we want to spend time changing that behavior because we don't want people to get hurt. It's a Vision Zero city. The vision being 0 deaths, 0 injuries. It's a high goal. It might not even be possible, but we're certainly going to work in that direction. Now, today being Women's Day, International Women's Day, March 8th, Vision Zero enforcement officers are spending time in 23 Division and 53 Division. Those are the neighborhoods of Rexdale, Jamestown, Martin Grove, Lawrence Park, Yonge and Eglinton, Rosedale, Leaside, neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. It's a real thing. And we announce it every morning right on our Twitter, our Instagram, and our Facebook pages. So if you'd like to be in the know, 6, 7, and 8 o'clock are when the posts go out. So you should be following us there. Traffic Services on X. And be there or be square. Is that like Slay? Is that kind of like the same level of...
I guess.
Maybe not. Maybe
be there or be square. Slay.
Okay, so we are currently broadcasting on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and of course X. And on all of those platforms, you can ask questions. Now, I will give the caveat of it works better when you're not on Instagram. I'm not a fan. Everything else is now, everything's on one camera, thankfully. But Instagram, we can't see your chats unless I look over here. So I'm staring off into the side. That's because I'm looking at Instagram. It is easier to get our attention on YouTube or any one of the other platforms. And if you want to ensure that we're hearing you, go to youtube.trafficcop.ca. It'll take us right to our YouTube page. Of course, there's a lot going on. If we don't answer your questions immediately, it's because you're in the queue. And that might take a while to get to you. But we'll do our very best. Before we get into too many, do we start with the magical tunes? Maybe we'll do a song. And then we will wait for response. We'll do some questions, play another song.
Yeah.
Okay. So
sounds like a good plan.
So I said earlier that I found a site that creates music, and I gave it a prompt, and the prompt was basically make a TikTok traffic cop song about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, because that's exactly what I talk about. This is the first song that it came up with.
Driving down the highway, wind blowing through my hair. The pedal to the metal, but I'm still aware. Gotta keep it safe, gotta follow the rules. Buckle up, hands on the wheel, no one's a fool. Yeah, on the road, gotta play it smart.
It's catchy.
Everyone's safe, that's where it starts.
Did it say I was dancing?
So be the love, together we can make it. That's our goal.
Okay. What do you think of that? That one's called On the Road, classified as pop upbeat. And it was written and performed and constructed by a computer this morning.
That's amazing. I gotta say though, and I know you for a fact you probably do not watch any of these shows, like the Netflix shows, the reality like dating shows, like Love Is Blind, all this stuff. They have like sort of similar poppy music, and I'm wondering now. I'm like, is it AI generated?
I think everything's. We might be AI generated. Who knows? Let's go with the first real question. Well, it's second because we got one question that slipped in earlier. What is the decibel limit for an aftermarket exhaust? And maybe we should make an Maybe every answer should from now on be an AI generated song. the decibel limit
would be hilarious.
for aftermarket exhaust song.
Yeah.
I needed that coffee to answer this question. So my understanding is 74 decibels is the appropriate limit. We don't look at that. Essentially, whether you're making noise from your stereo, making noise from your tires, your exhaust, your engine, if it's unnecessary to the safe operation of your motor vehicle, you can get a ticket for unnecessary noise. If you don't have a muffler, there's additional charges there. Now, in the City of Toronto, there's a bylaw, and City of Toronto noise team can actually issue a ticket if you are more than 92 decibels at idle or more than 96 decibels at anything other than idle. And that's for all motor vehicles. Last year, it was just motorcycles, and now it is all motor vehicles. And that's a big deal because it's a $500 offense or fine.
The more you know.
The more you know. There's a song for that too. Okay. Then we've got. Oh, did he have a motor patch on? Oh. Okay. This is M. Devo who's talking about. So I have, well, it could be one or two people. How old did he look? Did he have a full beard? I don't know. This is trying to identify who my twin is. So there's one person who's always, getting confused with, and then there's a younger version of me. But we all go to the motor squad. Yes. Okay. Again, two people that I think it could be. Let's see here. Hi from Pembroke. How much weight am I legally allowed to tow with my half-ton pickup truck? So depends on what your vehicle is rated to. And if you look at your back of your driver's license, you actually have the maximum that you can tow with a G-Class license. So one is the capacity of the vehicle and what it's capable of towing safely, and then the other is looking at your driver's license, neither of which I can tell you right now. You got to look. Let's see here. Did you do your rush hour, Erin?
Did I do my rush hour? I'm not actually assigned to the rush hour team. We actually have a dedicated shift that starts at 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'm not on that shift. So no, I did not do my rush hour because I'm not assigned to rush hour. But
that's good to know.
But the rush hour team does go out and do the rush hours, and sometimes I go out and assist, and I film it, and I show the world to how to not get a ticket and get towed at rush hour. Sorry, my ears itchy.
I once upon a time I used to do rush hour route. Like we would be sent out to go and assist parking enforcement and do rush hour stuff
Yep.
many moons ago. We got a Raman says, "Is that Miss Urquhart?"
That's me.
It says so on your name tag.
Might be hard to read though from that far away, but
They can hear
I
it.
can see it.
Heidi
I can
wants
read
to
it.
know if it's possible to do a ride along with a police officer. I know that in Ohio, there's a ... the ellipses at the end. So it is possible. Generally speaking, if you're a police officer, that's easy. If you're from another jurisdiction, if you're someone who's looking to get into law enforcement, that's a possibility. So absolutely is possible. It wasn't happening during COVID, but it's happening again, as far as I know. Let's see here. We've got there's the
she's
continuation.
Yeah.
That is allowed. Oh,
But mostly requires a driver's license. So they need to have a driver's license to do the ride along in Ohio. I think she's saying.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. It's probably more involved than that. I don't know what the current qualifications are to organize one, but either way, it is a possibility. If you're coming here with the intention of doing that, I would call ahead, make arrangements in advance. Let's see here. XUR, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Zur? Please tell Erin that I very much enjoy watching her videos and I love the work that she does.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
I'm very glad you enjoy my videos
They are
and
good
love
videos.
the work that I do.
I should have given you the
appreciate
link
that.
so you could have been broadcasting this on your platforms too.
Oh,
I
that's
forgot to
okay.
do that.
Next time.
Austin Reed says, I've seen 4 cruisers in Ottawa and they drive a vehicle like us now. Oh, interesting. I know not of what I haven't been to Ottawa in a bit. In a minute. Actually, I was there a couple of years ago for a week doing safety presentations to schools.
Yes. I actually remember that. Yeah.
I went with TURF, Traffic Injury Research Foundation. Okay. Should I take the police foundation program to be a police? Yeah, you know what? If you've got nothing else that's going on and you don't want to do something specialized like, accounting or a medical degree, you can take police foundations. I have I did it afterwards, but I have a certificate with them, a diploma.
too.
And, is it the most important thing to get under your belt to become a police officer or parking enforcement officer or a special constable? No. I think that if you have a diverse background, if you have skills and abilities that are different than everybody else applying for the same job, that makes you a unique individual and is beneficial to the police service when you are hired. You bring those unique skills and abilities instead of having all the same skills and ability that everybody else that's applying has.
Yes.
Yes. So there you go. You don't have to. I don't necessarily endorse it, but it's not a bad thing. Has Erin been taking advantage of all the cycling weather?
I have. I actually have not gone out on my bike this week. Unfortunately, I had some other special details I had to attend to. But last week, yes, I was out there. I went for a nice long ride. I was sweating. It's been a crazy mild winter. Like I actually read an article yesterday. I think it was someone who works in weather. I don't know what their official title is, but they were like, winter was canceled.
Winter was canceled.
In Toronto.
I wore a jacket like twice.
Yeah, I bought new winter boots for when it got really cold for like 2 days, and we had a little bit of snow, and they're like already back in my closet. Yeah.
Well, I always keep a winter parka in my truck just so I have it in case.
Smart.
But I don't generally wear one. I have just a polar fleece. That's my everyday everything jacket.
I've been wearing like my lighter puffer jacket like all winter, which is not my parka. So yeah, but yes, to answer your question, yes, I have been taking advantage of it.
Here is a parking question for you from Jana. Jana? Maybe it's Jana.
Okay.
How long are you allowed to park in residential areas?
So this is a good question, and it also depends on what the actual parking bylaws are in said residential areas, because a lot of residential areas, especially in the downtown core or even throughout the beaches area, West End, there's tons of areas in Toronto where you actually need a residential parking permit because there's only a certain amount of space on the street, and some people might not have driveways to utilize. So if it is a permitted area, you need to have a residential area permit, and you can get those through the City of Toronto website. And if it's unsigned, there's no parking bylaws within the residential streets, then you cannot park more than 3 hours. That is a citywide street bylaw. So if there's no parking signs, it's no more than 3 hours, and you can get a ticket if you park for more than 3 hours, which is usually based upon complaint.
Yes, when people are unhappy, they call. When people call, we show
they
up.
do. Trust me. We get tons and tons of 3-hour bylaw enforcement complaints. So.
And the ones when people park in the wrong area of the road.
Oh
like
yes,
on the
or
sidewalk.
in the wrong permit areas, or if you have the wrong permit for the wrong street.
There's people who complain about everything.
Yes.
Amelia wants to know if the traffic rules in Toronto would be a bit different than Mississauga and Burlington. So the rules, the Ontario Provincial Act called the Highway Traffic Act, that covers all of Ontario. When you start talking about parking enforcement and idling bylaws, things like that, it's different in every jurisdiction. Every city or municipality will have different rules, but many of them are the same. And shout out to Big Jeff Fresh. I already put their message on the screen. We were talking about pronouncing Toronto versus Toronto. And Neha says, as a Toronto saga girly, it's Toronto. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Toronto? I don't know. I say Toronto. And I've actually said it properly in my videos before on TikTok where I'm like, oh, in Toronto. And they're like, you're not from Toronto. And I'm like, okay, you got me.
Okay, we've played one song. This is the second song.
Oh.
This is, I don't know how this one is.
There's a God who got a he's here to teach us how to keep the streets neat with his dance moves.
It's hard for me to make out the lyrics.
In the world, making safety sound. Traffic cop rocks, keeping us in line. TikTok dance moves.
Oh, that's the TikTok
Dance moves?
Does TikTok? Does it say TikTok dance moves?
Yeah. So I don't get where it decided to go all renegade and make me a dancer. I actually present and teach police about TikTok and social media, and my presentation is called No Dancing Required because guess what? I don't dance. So
I feel like TikTok has evolved so much away from like where it started though, where it was mostly just,
not according to AI.
Oh, well, yeah, apparently.
There you go. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, also known as the TikTok Traffic Cop, formerly known as the CEO of No. Remember that?
Right?
That's a long time ago,
Wow.
talking about a blast from the proverbial
We're going on like
past.
3 years of doing TikTok, aren't we?
It's pretty wild.
TikTok?
TikTok. It's
TikTok.
also, that's what we call it. And of course, joining me on screen, Aaron Urquhart, the guru of I don't know if that's sticking or not. Is there a better name?
I feel like that's just what you call me, but the parking guru, I'm down. I'm here for it.
we can make it. We get merch coming soon. So one of my favorite American cops to watch is from he's from America,
Yeah.
his name escapes me now. It's my favorite, but I just somebody can jump in. But it's come on, it's Frank. Fridays with Frank.
Fridays with Frank?
Yeah.
I feel like you must have shown me this guy before.
And he's in there. I think he's in Arizona, and he just came out with the official Fridays with Frank merch store. Yeah. So someone possibly named Chase said, "When is your merch store coming out?" It's not.
Yeah.
There's no merch coming out. But it's Frank Sloop. Is it Sloop? Did I get that right? I don't know.
You're asking the wrong gal.
I'm gonna Google Fridays with Frank. Why do I think it's Fridays? Sloop. I was right. Pinal County Sheriff. There you go. Sometimes I remember stuff. Sometimes I don't. Okay. Are police laser readers specifically handheld manual devices, or can they be used automatically? Are we talking about laser speed measurement devices? Because speed measurement devices, and this is Liam from TikTok asking, we have handheld laser devices, and they are absolutely handheld manual devices. Now we have in-car units that are radar based, and they can be set to auto display all the time. They're not automatic. They don't do everything automatically. They don't capture anything, but they are there, and they do work well. All of them are good options. How long does a cop have to file a ticket before it's thrown out? I think we have to have it in by 7 days. It's instantly sent afterwards. It's all electronic now. So we hit send and it's processed. It's done out of our hands. But I think it's 7 days, but we do it immediately. Daniel King says, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl vibes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm assuming he's talking about the music. That's kind of
Maybe. I don't know.
easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
I haven't seen one of those commercials in
Can I actively
years.
unload and load in a no parking zone?
Great question. Yes and no. So yes, in terms of you can load and unload in no parking zones on side streets. But you cannot do this on arterial roads. So Yonge Street, for example, south of Bloor is in probably various areas of Yonge Street. Yonge Street is a very long road. It's no parking. So from what I'm thinking of, like south of Bloor on both sides of the street, not during rush hour times. The bylaw is no parking in most of the areas, and you can't do that on Yonge Street. So you can't, park outside of a business on Yonge Street and unload, but on a side street off of Yonge Street, you can. So same goes for deliveries, food deliveries, pickups. You can't just stop right in front of the business just because you have your pickup and drop off there. You need to know where you can and cannot stop and park to load. And that's what I talk about so much on my TikTok page. I have a whole playlist dedicated to
You can't
delivery
just pull over and do
exemptions.
what you want to do wherever you are
No,
and
unfortunately,
interfere with traffic.
contrary to popular belief, no, you can't. So I hope that helps answer the question. So you can in some areas and you can not. So yeah.
Big Jeff Fresh wants to know. He says, I need to know
I saw
that
that,
site where
yeah.
you made those songs. And while you were talking, I made a little lower third. It's suno.ai. That's where I went. I am not a paid representative. I just found out about it this morning because of a mailing list I'm on. I think it's awesome. You should definitely check it out. This is what you cops do on your shift. Trey wants to know. No, well, yes. Part of what we do on our shift is take an hour to do this show. Aaron's not always here. You come in once in a while, which is awesome to have you here. Jerry Agar, by the way, has asked that you come onto the show, on the radio show. Trey, to be more specific, we're both media relations officers. Our jobs have many, many different responsibilities, but one of those is social media and education, and this does both at the same time.
Exactly.
Yes. Love is Blind is my favorite show. That's from Heidi.
That's because I brought it up about the music. So.
Oh, I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. Is that with people who are vision impaired or?
No, sorry. No, I shouldn't laugh at that. No, it's it's an experimental dating show where people they're in pods.
So they don't see each other.
They don't see each other.
So it's all based on the feels.
Exactly. So there you
Okay.
go. But that's a good guess about Love is Blind. Well, there's Love on the Spectrum now too. That's a thing.
Okay. There's a lot of TV that I don't watch, so I can't comment on because I don't watch.
Anyways, we're not talking about reality TV here.
No. No. Okay, we got here. Can I get a parking ticket on a residential street with no signs, but let's go this again. I got a parking ticket on a residential street with no any signs, but got a ticket within 15 minutes. How?
Well, I couldn't tell you how because I would have to be the officer that issued the ticket. I would have to see maybe there was a sign there and you didn't see it, or maybe you were in front of a driveway. Yeah, what
did the ticket say on it?
What did the ticket? Usually, you will discover what you were ticketed for if you actually read the offense that's on the face of the ticket. So I would love to know what it said because I guarantee you it was not for the 3-hour bylaw if you were no more than 15 minutes.
Well, there'd be something, distance from curb, distance between
driveway
intersection.
obstruction, laneway obstruction. You could have been close to a fire hydrant on the street. Who knows? I would have to see your ticket.
Let's see.
Oh, can I fight that one? Sure, you are entitled to appeal any ticket.
Doesn't mean you'll win, but you have the
Exactly.
opportunity to go to court. And if you are in fact in the wrong, you will have wasted both the time and the energy, and you still have to pay. Do
Good
TPS
point.
parking services work 24/7? This is Daniel King who wants to know.
Yes, we do. We do have. I'm a Monday to Friday worker, or employee, I should say. But we do have a compressed work schedule. So we have officers that are working morning, noon, and overnight, and the parking officers that work overnight, they enforce the residential parking permits because those usually go into effect at between 10 p.m., midnight, sometimes 6 p.m., 7 p.m. It all depends on the neighborhoods and areas. But yeah, we're on the clock 24/7.
as are police,
Yep.
and as are those that answer the calls for service, and because we have operation operators. What am I thinking of? Communications operators.
Yes. Yeah.
But we also have station duty operators. We all operate 24/7 because crime doesn't stop, nor do bad parking and driving things.
Yeah.
Chase says, I genuinely wonder when Sean retires if this entire could be 24/7 live stream run by AI. Who knows? I mean, I am regurgitating a lot of the same information that could be from a large language model. I've actually thought about creating a large language model to be able to field questions in a chatbot. So it's entirely possible, but it would be far less fun.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So people you see in hell responds to Sago in the question of can you fight it, and says you can fight any ticket, do us all a favor by disputing it and clogging up the system. And that's the thing. People treat court like a roulette wheel, like they're taking a chance. They spin it just to see if they're going to win. It's terrible because it does clog up the system and that makes everybody wait. And while some people may benefit from that, having it take it too long, ultimately you're just wasting money, which increases taxes, which cost everybody. It's bad.
Yeah. Well, like, we don't have court anymore for parking officers. I miss and I don't miss court because exactly like you said, I would have all these people come in for tickets and they would want a trial. And I'm like, all right, let's go to trial. And I would win, or the city would win, or the Toronto parking enforcement would win, and then they would be the full fine would still be imposed on them. So they've like you said, just reiterating what you said.
Most people don't like getting tickets; it's a thing. But if you're responsible and you just take it as a lesson and move on and don't do it again, overall, I think you're actually further ahead. If you really think you're correct, if you really think there was a reason and you're not guilty, that's entirely different. By the way, to save time, I see some good mornings and whatnot. I'm putting you on screen to acknowledge you. I'm not going to read them all out because I'm going to keep going on with questions. So Paul from Toronto wants to know if a parking lot doesn't have a private property signage, the private property signage, is it enforceable?
Not by us. Nope. If we get called to a private property residence or property and there's not sufficient proper signage, like city signage, then we say no action taken because we can't enforce if there's no signs. So, no. So if you do have private property and you want it enforced, make sure you get those signs posted.
Yes. I used to be a landlord. I had a large parking lot. I had to post those signs in order to get rid of anybody because I had local residents just parking in my parking lot, and that was not okay.
Not good.
Marcus wants to know if many people working in parking enforcement use the position in a way to gain more experience for a potential career as a constable with the Toronto Police.
Yeah, for sure. I've had a ton of people that I've met on this job who have moved forward into whether it's special constable, policing, or being a police constable. And a lot of people like myself, like we stay. We like the parking enforcement unit, and so it is a great stepping stone. But I do recommend that if you just want to, apply and you do have goals to go elsewhere, that I guess I can't really say that because we can't encourage you to not apply somewhere else, but it's frustrating when someone gets hired and they're here for 5 minutes.
The 10-second officer.
Yeah, and then they're moving on to a different role, which is fine, but it takes away from another person that would, stay in this job.
At the end of the day, we want good candidates.
Yeah.
But the problem is that we spend money, the service as a whole spends money to train you and then has to spend money to train you again, 10 seconds, never really getting any value other than having hired a good person. So I know that the employment unit in the past has not frowned upon that. But when I became a court officer, 6 months after becoming an auxiliary officer, I did both for a number of years. I was told I should just apply for police constable. And I said, I made a commitment. I want to stay for a while. That while became 12 years, but that's another thing. Let's see here. How hard is it to become a Ministry of Natural Resources officer? I think that's what MNR, it did. I think that's what that acronym means. And to answer you, Luke, is I have no idea because I don't work for the Ministry of Natural Resources. But I imagine it's as hard as it. I don't know how to answer that question. Let's see here. Corey Wilkins wants to know, and it's a parking question. I've heard there is no longer free holiday parking, and if there's if so, is there going to be a grace period for those who don't know about the change?
So it is what you heard is true. This went into effect on Family Day, and it was all over the news. I was all over the news about this. And no, there is no grace period at this point anymore because it has been released in the news media. We have released it as Toronto Police Service, and it was covered on multiple mainstream news outlets. So no grace period. If you do not pay for parking on a statutory holiday, you will
Get a ticket.
you will be subjected to a $75 or not. No, sorry, not $75. I'm thinking private property, but you can get a ticket for not paying for parking, which currently is $30 on street. But
What a deal.
yeah, Green Pea parking lots are different. $75.
Okay. Cassie Poole Jr. wants to know, what happens if your license is suspended for unpaid fine? Will it stay on your record? So if you're suspended, your suspension is different than a conviction. So a suspension we see forever. Suspensions I don't believe are reported to your insurance company. I don't think. In any case, we have different clocks for different things. Points stay on 2 years from the date of the offense. Convictions stay on for 3 years from the date of conviction, and suspensions, if they're available, they would probably follow the 3-year rule, but I don't think they're available to anyone but police and your long record. Like you can actually get a abstract of everything in your history, and that would be there forever. Okay. Can I win a drive handheld ticket if the cop thought she saw me holding a phone when I didn't? Well, that depends on whether or not you can prove that. Essentially, they will. Hold on. I want to play music, so I'm hearing all the updates from my email checking on the other computer. We write down our evidence. We state what we saw. We testify to what we saw. If we saw you use a phone, we would articulate why we believed it to be a phone. If you say it was not a phone, you need to articulate why it was not a phone. Simply saying I didn't do it will not necessarily result in a win. We would, there's an assumption that the officer is doing it correctly. So you do need, I get a lot of emails, don't I? Let me make sure I quit my email program so that horrible binging can stop. Okay. So can you win? I don't know. I don't know what evidence you would present in your defense, but certainly you have the right to take it to court, and that is an option you have. And you're entitled to do that. Northern Pike says, is there any problems or issues with drivers that happen often that there aren't any tickets for yet? Like any charges for yet?
Oh, that's a good question.
The thing is, anything can be anything. And I mean that if you're doing something that's dangerous and there's no specific offense for it, careless driving could become that charge because I can articulate why it was, how it fits. I have to make that articulation. I have to cross that bridge. If you change lanes and it doesn't fit into one, I could say it's change lanes, not in safety. Start from stop, not in safety. There's so many blanket and options that provide latitude. So even if there is no specific offense for it, like for instance, underglow, it's not specifically illegal, but if the light is visible and being projected forward and is a color other than white or yellow, then improper headlights is an appropriate charge. I can lay that charge, even though maybe if it became such a problem, we'd actually create a no underglow law. Anything like that in parking?
Like an offense that I feel like I should be able to ticket for, but there's no offense for. You know what? I think it's an offense, but by law enforcement officers can ticket for, but we can't. Like someone parking on like someone's front lawn. So actually it has to be the City of Toronto bylaw officers that ticket that and not us.
Okay.
So but like there's an offense for that, but we just can't enforce it. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I don't have a good example.
Yeah.
Should we play another song while you think?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this one's called Traffic Rules Jam.
Living in a world where everyone's connected. From the cities to the suburbs, we're all intersected. But there's one thing we gotta keep in mind. When we're cruising down the road, we gotta be alive. Say stop at the red, go when it's green. Turn on your blink and let them know where you're leaning. Hands on the wheel, Eyes on the road, we gotta follow the rules. Keep the
Actually, I think I like this one the best.
Traffic rules, jam, let's get it started.
catchy.
Tick-tock and drive a bit smarties. Buckle up and keep the speed in check. Let's keep the road safe, we need to play a wreck. Traffic rules, jam,
This one's long.
dancing. From the east coast to the west, we're all advancing. So get your groove on, show 'em you can ride. But remember safety first, don't let it slide.
Oh, man.
This was
I love
all I
it.
typed was TikTok traffic cop explaining rules, laws, and police stuff to make people safe, and it just came up with that. I am blown away.
I want to try it out for parking. And
I
see
think
what
we should
comes
totally
up.
do that.
Yeah.
I have it gives you like 50 credits a day for the free account. And,
Oh, okay.
And
It's like
so
a
I can do
free
10 songs. So
trial, yeah.
I can do that. We can do it right here. We'll do that live at the end. We'll do dad jokes and
Okay.
we'll make a parking song. Okay, totally.
Okay.
So stick around for the end to hear Aaron Urquhart's TPS_bike heart. How do we make that into a song?
I
Okay.
don't know.
But Neha has a question in the meantime. Real question: how many NCOs, social media officer, I've met being such nice and lovely people? I'm not picking up what you're putting down. How many?
How are so many
Oh,
social media
yeah, I
officers
just
I've
can't
met
read.
been such nice and lovely
Because
people?
we're magical people. We're recruited for that reason. And Jenna says, "Hi, Aaron and Sean. It's Jenna. I meet you at the auto show, Sean. I
Yes.
know. I did a TikTok.
I
with,
saw that TikTok, and I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you, Jenna. I was supposed to be there that day, and I wasn't. I apologize, but
she specifically chose not to be there.
yeah,
No.
I had to take the day off. I'm sorry.
Things happen. Things happen. Stuff and things. Okay, so Richard says that a lot of these laws are the same in Ottawa's parking laws. And for the vast majority of laws are the same wherever you go. Let's see here. Are Uber drivers allowed to touch a screen to accept the ride? Uber drivers are not allowed to use their cell phones. You can answer a call, but technically speaking, it says that's the only thing you can do. You can answer a call is the only contact you can have with your phone to hang up or to accept, not to accept Uber rides in an app that is not specifically authorized. So GPS can be screen visible to driver, but your Uber account can't be. If you're busy reading your Uber screen, that's screen visible to driver, you can get charged under the distracted driving laws, and certainly making contact to accept a ride would also be illegal. $615 fine, 3 demerit points, 3-day suspension on conviction for the first offense, 7-day on your second, I believe, for your suspension. So, and I envision, and you can put it down in whatever book or track of things Sean says, I think they're going to raise it again. This was a $125 fine. That was $150 or $175. Then it just keeps on going up because people don't listen or can't control themselves when it comes to their cell phones. I expect that we're going to get to full suspensions roadside like we have with stunt. And I would also anticipate there would be a impoundment of vehicle eventually because people just can't seem to say no to their toy.
No, I agree. It's my number one. I'm leaning back here.
I'm trying to figure. I was just listening, going, "Wow!" I think it's
because
actually.
I literally just leaned back a bit. It's my number one pet peeve when I'm driving, and I can tell when the person or traffic in front of me are on their phone because you can tell their heads down, they're tapping their brake. There's like 15 car lengths in front of the one. Traffic's moving. It's like, get off the phone.
I was on the 400.
I hate it.
I was on the 400 with a sergeant a couple days ago. We're driving in one car in the middle of 3 or 4 lanes, and they're just doing 20 or 30 below everybody else. And we look by as we pass them, and sure enough, they're on their phone.
Yeah, I've seen some wild stuff. I've seen people with their phone in the middle of their steering wheel, texting.
iPads. I've seen iPads watching movies.
I've seen that. Well, I haven't seen that driving. I've seen people parked with that. And I'm like, okay, you can't do that here. But yeah, it's bad. I'm not a fan. I wish I could enforce that as a parking officer because I see it all the time on my bicycle.
I wish I was still on the road in many respects because I
Yeah.
would be doing all sorts of things like that. And Devo wants to know, uncontrolled crosswalk with yellow crosswalk signs on either side of the street. Who has right of way? We're talking about a pedestrian crossover because if it's not in an intersection, is that what I'm picking up?
It sounds like with the yellow lights where you press
Yeah,
the
that's
button.
called. So it's a PXO, pedestrian crossover. When the lights are active and there's a pedestrian who's entering the street, you have to wait until the pedestrian has completely left the road. You cannot cross that pedestrian crossover until Nobody's there, which is different because at an intersection that has a crosswalk, you have to yield to the pedestrian who's lawfully in the intersection. But if they pass your half of the road, if they pass you, you're no longer required to yield. They've left. They're no longer part of the scenario, so you're allowed to continue along. And why is so in terms of right away, that's a diff. Oh, sorry. One other thing to add: if there's a crossing guard present, then you do at that intersection have to wait until everyone's off the road as well. That's the only caveat. But when you talk about the heck was I going to say? There was right of way, because that's where you were going with this. You have to yield. So if they're about to put their foot onto the crosswalk off the sidewalk, they're in play. If they have not started to cross and you're already turning, they have to yield to you. So there's a charge for a pedestrian who fails to yield for the car who's already committed to that turn, and then vehicles have to yield to pedestrians who are already lawfully in that intersection. So it depends. That was a very long and twisted and hopefully not too confusing answer. My apologies if it was. That didn't come out as smoothly as I'd hoped. We got... Richard says, I've heard people pronouncing Toronto in such a way that it made people think of the city in Tirana, Albania.
Albania.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Atlanta or Alabama. Anyway, I've never heard that, but that's something new to me.
This was just when I was saying I can't make out the lyrics to the... Yes, I know, and I don't listen to modern hip-hop because it's awful.
And Chase was on it with Frank Sloop, because actually Chase is the one who sent me that message saying that I should be reaching out, that he's got merch and I should get merch, but also that I should be talking to Frank about bringing him in onto the show. And I think that's a great idea.
That'd be cool.
Definitely. See, because he's taking credit. He says, I tagged you in that post. I know you did. I know. I give you credit. We got a lot of Pinal County Sheriff Office. Frank's a good dude. Absolutely. He's awesome. That's Deputy Sloop, pronounced like, it's Slope. It's Slope, not Sloop? Why did I think it was, okay.
Silent U?
Well, interesting. I just read, so I'm going through all of the books from Reacher, all the Reacher books.
Okay,
and I'm on book 7, I think, now. I've just been going bananas. I'm listening to, not truly reading them, although I understand that through Reading Rainbow, it is in fact considered reading. There's a character whose first name was Sloop. And maybe that's why. Don't know. Just a reminder to please add the letter Q when you ask questions, so we know that you're asking a question and not having banter amongst others in the chat. And here we go. More people with the how to pronounce Sloop is Slope. Slope. Okay, interesting. Very cool. I really do enjoy those videos. I would do the same thing here if I was on the road. I would absolutely recreate what he's doing with Canadian.
I got to check it out.
Yes, it's a lot of fun to watch. Let's see here. We've got, that was the traffic rules jam. Did we vote? That's when you said you like the most now?
I think so.
Okay, traffic rules jam. Okay, then there's one called, we'll do another couple and then we'll jump in here. Boom. Bunch of stuff just popped in. Bunch of stuff. It happened. I got to find where this one was. Oh. Okay, very cool. Lots of questions about parking. I love it when you get lots of those questions. Yeah. Does your precinct have a wall of APBs for street racers to look out for? We don't have things on our wall for that. Probably 30 years ago we probably did, but now we actually have computer information systems. And Randy confirms it's Frank's Slope. Awesome. Can I hang a flag off my car? This is a good question. We get it a lot. It has to be attached correctly. It has to be secured properly. And then it has to not block or interfere with anybody else. But is it against the rule to have a flag on your car? Not specifically. There's no flag on car rule.
Yeah,
but it could
sorry,
qualify for other things.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the ones that you see during, like, sports series, like the World Cup, everyone has their country flags on their window.
If you've got a 20-foot flag that's flying out of your car and you've got your arm holding the pole, you're not driving properly.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about the ones that are actually, like, made to, like, put on a car.
Right.
Those are
different than
right?
the ones on the window that are properly secured. A big one that, you're using duct tape and bungee cords, probably not okay. In fact, I guarantee you it's not. Deshaun says, is 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers over the speed limit acceptable? By law, it is speeding. It is against the law, and you could be charged for it. Do I think that 5 or 10 kilometers an hour on a highway, do I think it's going to get you noticed? Probably not. That doesn't mean it's legal. Doesn't mean you should. If you're doing 5 to 10 over in a 30 zone in Toronto, I imagine you could get a ticket very easily there, because those are areas where very specifically we're working to slow down. So yeah, I wouldn't give you any leeway off the highway, but on the highway, a 5 to 10% leeway, I think many officers would probably give you that but not acceptable. It's the unacceptable, but they got bigger fish to fry. It's like leeway with parking.
Yeah.
Like 15-minute grace period.
Yeah, which is it's not written into the bylaw. It's just a policy that we've done on, drivers' behalf. So to give you enough time to either re-up your parking or get out of the spot.
All these options. Okay, I'll flag the next question, but let's listen to this because we're getting close to the hour. This is the next song.
Time flies.
Yeah, when you're having fun.
I think I like this one better.
Oh, I got to start that one again. Okay. That one's not bad. It's short, though.
It's short, but I love the last lyric. Educate and entertain, never acting like a fool. Never know. I don't know. I just can take some taglines out of these.
I like it. I may have to build these into the show. Okay. We'll do a couple more. I like the next one, too. Okay. Matthew says, I've always wondered how you guys are allowed to go through red lights when your sirens are on.
Part 1. Then there's part 2.
Oh.
What?
And then continues to say, why do people stop when they hear sirens at a green light?
Like, why do cars stop when they hear sirens coming from any direction in their vicinity at a green light?
I'm confused because that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
That's
like
exactly
you're legally obligated to slow down and pull over and stop when you see and or hear lights and sirens. Like you that's a legal requirement. If you don't do it, it's a $490 fine. Now, when we come to a complete stop at an intersection, because we have to stop before we enter on a red, we have to make sure everybody stops before we go through, because bad things happen if we don't confirm it's safe to go through. We would be responsible for that. And that's a bad day at the office. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what people are supposed to do. So I don't know why you're having difficulty processing that. How do you even expect delivery drivers to operate now? Are we talking about the fact that they're not allowed to touch their phones? They can. Well, there's certain things you can do. There's an exemption for certain types of systems that are dedicated for management of. I have to look at the wording, but there's a system for freight operators, and they can have their next destination listed. Now, if you are parked, like getting your order ready because you just delivered one, and you're looking what the next one on your route is, you can look at that. But when you're driving, you should be driving. And that's it.
I think they might be referring to also like the parking on, you can't park.
Oh,
on,
maybe.
Like, I don't know,
I don't
maybe. Just because that's what I.
Farhan, you got to clarify what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Parking question. Thank you, Corey, for actually clarifying parking. I mean, I would have figured it out, but I do appreciate
Corey.
it. How many tickets do you write on an average shift?
So, on an average shift, when I'm out there for a full shift, we work like 7 hours. We go a no lunch hour, just works operationally when we're out on the road. I could write it between 45 to 60 in a 7 hour duration. If I'm out there for 8 hours, it definitely, like if I come in on a Saturday and do an overtime callback, I'm writing over 60, 100%. Sometimes 70, 80.
And here's the thing people don't get. We're not causing you to break the law. We're just holding you accountable for the choices that you make.
I'm just catching you. I don't park your car. You do.
And I don't cause people to speed or use their cell phones. So people don't like getting caught, but it's getting caught that sucks. You can avoid it by just not breaking the law or parking illegally or, that kind of stuff. We already covered the King 5K. How's it going? This question was asked, but I'll answer it again. Do cops have APBs or bolos for notorious street racers to look out for when on shift? So the other one was about putting it on a wall. So we actually do share information. We have information gathering. We do, share those kind of things. So people say, well, if they run away, you'll never get them. I'm like, that's great. We gather information. We build files. Sometimes we arrest people at home, like a lot of the time. People get away with things only for so long, and it's really gratifying when we catch them.
Yeah. There was that one that went crazy viral on, I think it was York region, the street
Smurfy?
race.
Was that Smurfy?
Yeah,
Catch me if
yeah.
you can or something? That was funny.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Not a question. This is from Anthony Pickett on TikTok. Not a question, but it was great to meet the both of you at the auto show last month. Great to meet you,
Great
too.
to meet you too, yeah.
It's one of those I love the auto show. I love events where we can actually go out in person, those meet and greet opportunities. I think it's fantastic because, we develop a relationship. It's very one way here. We get your chat messages, but, it's a totally different another level to be able to have a conversation and get the feedback of what this show means to you. So thank you. And not just this show, but all of our social media efforts, because really this is all for you guys. What are the steps to become a traffic cop? Well, first of all, you become a police officer. Once you become a qualified police officer, now you graduate, you're a police officer. You can either go to a police division in the city that handles primary response, or you can go to traffic. More often than not, everyone goes to primary response division and then later chooses to specialize. Occasionally, based on needs, we will get people going directly to traffic services. So we just had, I think, 5 new recruits come directly here. And at some point, they're going to go back to a division to get some broader training, and then they're going to come back and continue to specialize. Some people stay in traffic for life, or they don't. Like I started in 12 division, and that had me as a primary response officer. Then I got into the traffic office there. And then when the opportunity presented itself, I moved over to traffic services, which I knew I wanted to go to and volunteered at the police college for because I was an auxiliary with traffic services. So I knew I wanted to be here. So I hope that helps. Oh my God, it's Sean and Aaron. I love you both. That's from Tom Cooper Jr. Thanks very much. We should do this more often. It's nice to have a co-host. Now that would totally disregard Sergeant Campbell.
I was just going to say, Sergeant Campbell sometimes pops his head in here and I'm sitting in his seat and he's like,
giving you the stink
he's
eye.
So offended. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well, I will say this, and
sorry, go ahead.
I've mentioned it before, but we're going to have a little bit of a change of studio.
Yeah.
In that there's a big table coming in the middle. And we're going to change this format more to a podcast, wider desk, larger picture, less my face directly in the camera, and more having a conversation with more people at the table. So I think that would be an opportunity for the 3 of us to be there on a regular basis.
That would be really cool.
I think that's
I'm
going to be
excited.
cool.
Do we know when that's happening yet?
I got an update saying soon, but then again, last year I heard soon. So I don't know what soon means anymore. Fahim has a question. That was a question. Kind of. You kind of you could have put the question where anyway. Let us know what your question is. Okay. What would happen, this is from King 5K, what would happen if you were going to write a ticket for an illegally parked car, but it has no plates? What would you do? Would you leave the car alone? What is your plan of action?
That's a good question. So if me as a parking officer comes across a vehicle with no plates, we can run the VIN with the dispatcher, and then it would be our next course of action to actually call a police officer there because unplated vehicles cannot be on city streets. So the police officer would take over the investigation and tow the vehicle to the impound. So don't be unplated on
That
city
is a pretty
streets.
distinct plan of action.
Yep. We have procedures for these things for a reason.
Fake Alex. Hi, Fake Alex. With a real Alex, please. Anyway, that's really okay. I wouldn't go to court if insurance wasn't unfair in response. So you would take responsibility if it wasn't for the implications of your insurance going up. The better answer is don't break the law. You wouldn't have to worry about it. Oh, look at that. I don't even get it. But the deal is that was it G? Does this all start with G?
I think there's like something going on in the. I've been kind of looking over at TikTok.
I don't know what's going on. But here's the deal. Insurance doesn't even care about points. Did you know that? But everyone wants to get their points reduced because they think it's going to make their life better. They don't care. It's about convictions. You forget to drive with your license in your wallet. You fail to surrender it. That's a minor offense according to insurance, and multiple minor offenses can impact your insurance.
Oh, wow.
It's like follow all the rules. Yeah, okay. Jenna says hi. It's Jenna.
Oh, I
Again.
think that was from earlier.
I think it
something.
was.
Yeah.
We're about a half an hour behind.
Excuse me.
Okay. Mustafa says, why don't you answer my question?
Well, the question is 2 above that, and we already answered that.
Yes, well, because they asked it, then they asked it again, then they asked it again, then they said,
Okay.
"Why don't you?" Everyone, we can't actually do this in real time because we have to
Yeah.
read and speak, and
We're not ignoring you.
no, it's a bit of a wait. And are you pressed for time? Are you able to go a little longer?
I can go longer, yeah.
Okay,
for
we'll
sure.
keep on going because normally this is where we'd say goodbye and have a great weekend and all that jazz. But because we love you, we're going to keep going. Not
There's, quite a few people
specifically
there, yeah.
Mustafa, but we love all y'all. Let's see here. Who's G? What's
I
this
think
G?
I don't know if obviously they haven't been muted, but I did catch it in the chat over there on the other screen, and they're a troll. So
Okay.
just
Well,
ignore.
I would ban them if maybe somebody
Yeah,
banned
you
them
know what?
already. They've probably been banned. Go fix your record player. You're stuck on a repeat. That was to G from Robbie. Robbie, thank you very much for reminding everybody. Oh, sorry for that. Not to spam the chat. Don't spam the chat.
Woo.
Yes. That we have to get policey in here.
I'm gonna go in the chat and see if I can find this person and get him out of there.
Then Neha says, let's not be mean here. I don't see the mean part. Where's the mean part? But Neha is officially being the peacekeeper in the chat. Appreciate it. What do you need to register and insure a used vehicle in Ontario? You need to have a used vehicle package. That has to be there. You have to have assigned ownership from the previous owner. You need to have proof of insurance. You have to have obviously your information, and that's it. The insurance part of it is a separate thing. One's Ministry of Transportation, that's to plate it, but to get the insurance, you need to have the VIN number. I said VIN number. I haven't said that together.
Now we're getting silly.
Yeah, because you see, the VIN includes the N for number, but a VIN number is a vehicle identification number, and it's wrong. I thought I broke the habit, but yeah. Here's a great question. Jenna got a accessible sticker, or not a sticker, but a pass permit. That's what it's called. Where can I park my car, and when can I? When and where? Where?
Where and where? I think she meant to say like
When and where
I can and where I can't.
Oh, maybe. Well, let's go with the whole answer.
Okay, so in Toronto, I said it Toronto. I said it properly now. What is wrong with me? Anyways, so in Toronto, I can't talk now. Specifically speaking, Toronto, with the accessible permit, you are able to park on street in the metered green P areas, and you are exempt from payment. So you do not have to pay at the meter. This is just on street, in the lots, in green P lots. I believe you still have to pay. You are exempt from any time limit parking up to 24 hours. So say it's 1 hour free street parking, you get 24 hours as opposed to the 1 hour. You can park in the regular no parking anytime zones as long as you are not obstructing the flow of traffic. So anytime you just see a P with the slash through it, anytime you can park there and you are exempt. You can also park your car facing the wrong way. So say, the person with who needs the accessible permit, say they're a passenger and they need to get out of the car on the passenger side, but where you're parked, you can park your car the actual opposite way. I don't recommend that because it can be something that could be potentially dangerous. But yeah, there's a whole list of exemptions for the accessible permit, and you can easily find. I believe do you not get like a package when you get those permits that list
all the instructions
all the
and links to
instructions?
websites? It is, but you know what? It can still be confusing, and I know many people, they don't read instructions. Like my father, who had no idea when he got his accessible permit that he could do what he could do.
Yeah.
So it becomes like, what do you mean I don't have to pay for parking? What do you mean I can park in a no parking zone? It says no parking right there.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect. It does give you special privileges. There's a reason. If you have accessibility issues, obviously we're making it possible for you to be accessible.
Exactly.
And it goes against the thinking, and I get it, because you've been a rule follower your whole life, and now you're going to go break the rules because you have a little piece of paper. But there's also big things to remember. One, that if you are having somebody else drive you, you have to be in the car when you're parking in these scenarios.
Yeah, you can't just give the permit to, a family member or a friend and say, hey, just use this wherever you want. And because if they get caught with it, you're going to get,
You're going to lose your permit.
You're going to lose your permit. You can be fined up to $5,000 fraud for abusing the permit, misusing the permits, and we have an actual whole dedicated specialized unit that they drive unmarked vehicles, they investigate reported permits misuse, and we have the authority to retain your permit. Seize. Do we not say retain anymore?
I don't know. I've never used. Well, maybe you guys retain. We seize.
Oh, seize
Police
the permit.
seize.
Yes, seize your permit, and you get a call from a police officer, and it's like, hey, we want to have a sit down and chat, and that's when they decide whether or not they're going to impose a full charge on you. So.
I've been involved in investigations where people are misusing those, and it's not fun for the people who need that or have used fraudulent, misrepresentation to obtain that in the first place.
Yeah,
it's not nice.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the story. A friend of mine owns a restaurant. His son is in a wheelchair. He dropped his son and his wife off at the front of the mall and then drove into a wheelchair spot, not realizing he wasn't eligible to use that now that his son wasn't in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Lost the pass, and that's a big deal. Like it's a big deal to not to have something when you need it. Here's King 5K wants to know, how does your parking device system work? Does it match the license plate to the car, or does it just write the ticket to the plate that you see? What would you do if the plate doesn't match the car you see?
So
YouTube gives you a lot of letters.
Yeah.
A lot of characters.
So our parking device works. So it actually does have a plate recognition function, but meaning I can just put the camera function onto the plate. It recognizes the plate, types it in the actual face of the ticket for me. But no, it does not match the license plate to the car automatically. I would actually have to physically or manually run the license plate with our dispatcher, which we can do, no problem. But in a case where I put in a plate, it will tell me if a plate has been reported stolen.
Mm-hmm.
So usually if that happens,
It's
a clue. We run the plate, and sometimes it could just be, generally not anymore because we don't actually physically have the VAL stickers. But a lot of times in the past, we would run a plate and it would just be like, oh no, the license plate isn't but the VAL sticker. People would steal other people's stickers, but it has a registration number.
People don't realize that things are trackable, traceable. And I remember I used to do all sorts of videos talking about how to prevent your validation sticker from being stolen. That was a big thing because it was so prevalent. And people also look to steal license plates from similar cars.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a green Toyota, somebody might look for another green Toyota to steal a plate that it'll last longer on their vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so that's how it works. And it does tell me if you've paid for parking on the app. It's pretty cool device.
It is pretty neat.
Yes.
Is there a Toronto First Responders Baseball League like you would see in the movies and shows? There are leagues, and courts used to play, and I think it's all of the police services, and I don't play in them, but I used to go to them, and
I don't know about
I think I had a shirt
baseball.
once. I may have played once.
I know there's a soccer team, TPS soccer team.
I was in a tug-of-war team.
They had a tug-of-war team?
We had a tug-of-war team.
Wow. That's fun.
Jonathan Norris says that they had a near miss with a police officer the other day. No siren, no lights, blew right in front of me. Abbotsford police did that to me by accident. I'm reading through its multiple messages, and was speeding through the parking lot at 60, and it wasn't the phone, it was a chocolate bar. Okay. I think they've changed topics. However, things happen. I don't know anything about this particular incident other than what you've just mentioned, and I can't tell you what they were doing because I don't know. I don't know. How many calls about break-ins today? I don't know. This is the Traffic Services channel, not the break-ins channel. I actually just don't know. That's not an area. Primary response would be responding to calls of that nature. Traffic Services and Parking Enforcement tend to be involved with traffic services and parking enforcement. And but I'm sure there have been plenty. Moto Brew, is it okay when motorcycles park off the street on sidewalks and boulevards? Ooh, good question.
No. Unless it's private property boulevard, then, by all means, the property owner can allow you to do that.
Or not.
Or not.
Because they can still call and complain and
exactly.
get you.
But no, you can still get a ticket parking your motorcycle on a sidewalk, which is a $150 ticket. And to be honest, in Toronto, motorcycles get
Free street parking.
Free street parking in Green P on the street.
Yes.
But you can still get a ticket in multiple other places with a motorcycle.
Green P on the street, not Green P parking lots. People get messed up like that. That's one of the greatest things about Toronto, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't get to take advantage of it anymore, but my goodness, is that a savings?
Well, that and not only that, we actually have designated motorized. Designated. I'm having the best.
A tow miter.
I just got a southern accent for anyways.
It happens. Just it's a thing.
But yeah, sorry. What I was gonna say is we have designated scooter and motorcycle parking. So actually, cars can't even park there. It's for motorcycles, and you don't have to pay for parking there either because they're within Green P.
It's good. Let's see here. Can you lane split on a motorcycle in Toronto? So lane splitting is where you drive between the lanes, basically run the line between lanes. Here's the deal. Careless driving, stunt driving, or dangerous driving, depending on the observations of the officer. It's not a specific law. It doesn't say thou shalt not do it. But I can tell you that when you drive between vehicles at speed, that's careless, or it's stunt, or it's dangerous because you're putting people at risk. So that's a thing. And it's not legal. It's not legal anywhere, actually, anywhere in Canada. But then again, it's also not specifically illegal anywhere that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I see it a lot.
It's bloody dangerous. So
yeah.
It's legal in California. Go there if you want a lane split. And even the California Highway Patrol on their website says it's dangerous. So don't do it. Yeah. They say use tremendous caution. Something that people don't realize. Speed differential. That's the difference in speed between vehicles that are stopped and moving or traveling at one speed compared to traveling at a higher speed. And yeah. Oh, I got to tell this person I'm live streaming. Watch me online. That's my pre-programmed iPhone response. I'm live streaming.
That's awesome.
Watch me online. So yeah, the deal is that that differential is what causes the damage and the injury. If you're all going the same speed, it's lesser. But most people are going through traffic because traffic's not moving. Thus, they're putting people at risk. Tim Shawa says or asks, if I'm involved in a minor collision and no charges were laid, will that be on my driving record? You would see there would be a report that a collision occurred. Your insurance company might be notified that a collision occurred, and you'd probably want them to be notified because if you don't notify them and the other side makes a claim and you haven't told them, maybe they think you're holding something back. But no, it doesn't go on your driving record. Convictions go on your driving record. The ministry doesn't track collisions that I'm aware of. Boom, boom, boom. My favorite. My two favorite Torontonian traffic cops in one live. This is fantastic. I'm so happy that you're happy. That's awesome. Robert Niederloff. What's going on? All right. Well, I got to scroll back because things just updated. Okay. In the meantime, I'll play this song. This is yet another version. I thought this was my favorite version, and in listening to the other ones, I now am torn. So here's another AI-generated song about me.
I'm a TikTok traffic cop, here to rock your feet, keeping roads safe, answering every traffic need. You got a question about the laws or rules to obey, I'll break it down for you in a fun and catchy way.
I actually do like this one. It really captures what you do.
I like this one. I thought that was. I really like that one.
I think that one's that might be my number one now.
Could be. I got to scroll way back. There's lots of questions here. And Jenny says, "Love you guys." Thank you, Jenny. Yeah. Have you seen on the what's it called? FaceTime now, if you make the heart hands and things, it actually has hearts that come out.
Oh, really?
There's all sorts of things.
No, I didn't know that.
I do it with my kids. We do hearts, and then thumbs up means one thing, and then there's there's all sorts of.
I think there's
laser
a
show.
There's a thing I noticed this on Instagram today. I was trying to take a selfie with me and my cat, and I had like a peace sign up, and balloons came up.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I was like, what?
That's one of them.
I was so confused. I'm like, is that the peace sign? Like number 2
I'm just
is
laughing
balloons?
at the selfie with my cat thing. I'm trying to.
She was looking right at the camera. It was an opportunity.
Did you see the pictures of the little dog and the seal? There's like a
the wiener dog. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so. And they had like a little tube.
yeah,
like,
he was wearing the things. It was cold outside.
Oh, that was so cute.
It was a great TikTok. I don't know who put it up, but it was a great TikTok.
I saw that.
Let's see here. Oh, Captain Foley in Trek Yards. Live long and prosper. Because you can't.
Can I do that?
Can't you do that?
Oh, I can do it.
Yeah. It doesn't show up now, but normally it's actually on his name. I thought, did you change your name, or am I just not seeing the emoji? So live long and prosper there, Captain Foley. That's awesome. I can't. I love it. I love the Trek stuff. Yeah. It's Trekker, not Trekkie.
Trek Yards.
Let's see here. Robert says, thanks to your tips, I got my full G license when already having a Dutch one all in one go.
Wow,
Congratulations. That's
awesome.
These are good. I like these. I like hearing good stuff. Unsolved Mystery says, check YouTube comments now, please.
What?
It all comes through a funnel of sorts, and I can't really look at it any other way. But we'll go review it after, possibly, maybe. Let's see here. When is your quota due? Norm or Norman, Toronto?
Quota for who? We don't have quotas.
This is a funny thing. People make assumptions that this is about money. No. It's about keeping traffic moving, making the streets safer when it comes to traffic. It's really not a money thing. In fact, I would argue that it is the most expensive thing to do is enforce laws, because not only do we have a system where we go out and they pay us to go out and do stuff, but then that process has people behind the scenes tracking and mailing and doing and notifying, and then they have to put the lights on, and someone has to sit there and be a court reporter, a prosecutor, a justice of the peace. It costs money. And I don't think that they make money at it. I just don't think I don't have specific stats, but I would guesstimate that there's no profit here. No. But, there is something called working for a living. And I mean that if everybody else wrote 60 and you came in with 2. Yeah. I think there'd be a problem.
There would be some questions. And to add on to that, I have no extra incentive to go out there and write 100 tickets or endless tickets. I'm still getting paid the same amount I get paid. I'm salary based. I don't get any extra bonuses.
Ticket lady doesn't care about a thing. She is a quota queen.
I'm not a quota queen, but kind of like that nickname.
Quota queen? Is that better than
well,
than
no,
guru?
because I'm not. We don't have quotas. Like, I'm not. Just like what Sean said, if I come in at the end of my 7-8 hour shift with 2 tickets, my supervisor is going to be asking me, well, what were you doing all day?
Well, and that's the thing. Well, Timmy's had great decor, and I just felt the vibe, so I hung out there. That doesn't work. We're expected to do things. We also get dispatched to calls. I say we.
Yes.
You get dispatched to calls. Police get dispatched to calls.
calls.
So if it takes you 2 hours to go service that call and 1 ticket's issued, that's your 2 hours, right? There's not an expectation to have 50 tickets a day, or you're going to get beaten with a wooden stick.
Our time needs to be justified and accounted for at the end of the day.
Yeah. Northern Pike says, thanks. I appreciate you both answering. I don't know what we answered in particular, but thank you for the thank you. We appreciate the thanks. If someone parks over a wheelchair ramp and I'm rolling along and officer sees, they can't do. Huh?
What?
So I'm assuming this means that you may be on wheels, and if you're rolling along and someone has blocked your ramp, well, then we can call it. We'll activate. We'll deal. That's serious stuff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the actual question. But yeah, if it's in an accessible spot where there is a ramp, then we can definitely enforce whatever the signage is there. Yeah,
and I imagine you can just tow for that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. We would have to ticket and tow for sure.
Yeah, but that's we don't just say, "I'm sorry," roll somewhere else. No, no, that's not what's going to happen. Let's see here. Can you be charged just based on witness testimony or witness statements for traffic violence or criminal? Traffic violations or criminal? So that's a more complicated question. If it's traffic offenses, it's found committing, we're seeing it happen, or it's based on evidence and testimony, like a collision. There's obvious, you're the driver, there's a crashed car here. Based on the evidence, we can determine there's sufficient grounds for a charge. For speeding, those are the fines committing ones. We have to actually do it. We can't take witness testimony that guy went fast and go and say, you're on the hook for that. No, different things, different situation for each. Criminal, reasonable probable grounds to believe that an offense is taking place would allow us to lay charges. That's a police thing, whereas other types of law enforcement, like special constables, need different markers. Like fines committing for certain offenses and reasonable probable grounds for others. It depends. I think answer is depends. What do we got here? If anybody, we talked about that already. Oh, Greg Marshall says good morning. So it's Mustafa really was a positive that we were not answering their question in particular.
Oh, okay.
That's it. But yeah, we're not ignoring you, Mustafa. See, and Robert's got our back. They're behind a bit. They're also live streaming on YouTube and takes comments.
Oh,
See?
I'm getting calls too. Jeez.
Yeah, I wonder who they are. I got 2 calls now.
Oh.
Okay, Cody Smith. I'm car, has no headlights in it, and I need to transport it to my house. Is it legal during the day? Yeah, it's not. So technically, you don't meet safety without any headlights. I'd say tow it. I don't want to say yes and then you get in trouble, because I don't think I'd even notice if you didn't have functioning headlights if it was during the day, but I don't want you to get into a situation. So, yeah, you're supposed to have headlights. You should have headlights, and you would not be a certifiable vehicle without headlights. So could you have problems? Technically, you have to have 2 headlights and a taillight on a vehicle. But if we didn't know, just saying. Okay, where did I leave off? Here we are. That's where I left off. Can you be arrested on witness statements alone? Boy, what? So blacklisted Jetta, you got a lot of concerns about arresting. So there you go. Can you be? Yes, someone can make a report and you can be arrested based on that report. Is leniency given for motorbikes when they park in non-designated areas? Hi, Sean, saw you at the auto show. Hey. Leniency given to motorbikes. So when you're in a no parking zone, do you just let them go?
No. If I do see, a motorcycle driver nearby, I will say anytime I've come across a motorcycle that is illegally parked, the driver is not too far away and they're usually walking back to their bike before I could even write a ticket. And a lot of drivers, motorcycle drivers, maybe they're not from Toronto and they don't realize that, oh, I didn't know that, because in their municipality, and I tell them like, well, no, in a loading zone or no parking zone, you can still get a ticket. So yeah, but they have a ton of leniency with, like we just discussed about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. But if you're in a no parking zone and there's nobody around, expect to get a ticket.
Yeah.
Mustafa, I guess now heard, this is now 44 after 10, heard that we answered the question finally and stopped asking us to answer it, but has a follow-up question. I hope they realize that's going to take a few before we respond to it. But here's the deal. How do I accept a ride if I can't touch my phone? You don't drive until you touch the phone. So you're parked legally. And look at this. Matthew says, you go to a parking lot, you turn on your hazards, you accept it, but not while you're driving. And that is a perfect answer. You can't be driving. You can't be on. You have to be legally parked if you're on the road or not on the road in order to use your phone. That's the answer. It's a perfect answer. Thank you, Matthew. We already covered this one. You says, hell yeah, we need enforcement. And I think that's just an absolutely perfect answer to all things. That's my certainly what I say. Let's see. Robert says, thanks to your tip, Sean. Oh, we covered this already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
we get, it's such good news. We can congratulate you twice.
Yes.
Let's see here. Matthew, Mustafa says he has 5 seconds to accept the ride. Then if you're parked, you can accept the ride, but you have all the time in the world when you're parked. You can't do it while you're driving. If you're actively waiting for a ride or a job, be pulled over, parked legally, and then you can do whatever you want with your phone. You can watch a movie until the question comes up because you're not driving. Okay. At what point is quickly accelerating for a stop, not exceeding the speed limit, an offense? When it puts people at risk, when it's considered a what's the word I'm looking for? A departure, a marked departure from everybody else. So if you are hitting that gas and you're chirping your tires and even if you don't chirp the tires, you accelerate so quickly that people are all in panic because of your actions. Could it be stunt driving? It could. Is it likely that it's going to be stunt driving? Probably not, because I don't think that you're going to be accelerating all that much. But if you were to do a launch mode, and that 0 to 60 is 3 seconds, I'm going to probably investigate you and possibly go with a stunt charge. Possibly, maybe. We'll see. So when Fake Alex wants to know about suspensions again. So if you're found not guilty, which suspension is this? I think you're possibly talking about stunt driving, which gives you a 30-day suspension. Do you reverse suspensions? Suspensions are things that happen. You've already experienced the suspension. You don't reverse suspensions. It's happened. It's past tense. You were suspended. They say taking people's licenses away because of the opinion of what an officer thinks they saw is absurd. The government disagrees. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Lots of discussions with Mustafa. Then we keep on going here. Thank you for clarifying the crosswalk. Yeah, the crosswalk thing. That's what Captain Foley was saying. And you're most welcome. Okay.
I think that's someone answering someone else. Or someone's excited.
Yes, Tweepix. Tweepix. I don't know. Oh my God, it's you. I followed you from seeing the bike lane videos. Officer Urquhart, thank you both for keeping the streets safe. You're very welcome.
Thank you for following me and thanking both of us.
Yes, it's so nice to hear positivity.
It is.
Let's see here. Robert says, "Oh, that's the issue, right? That's a pickle." That's great. Okay, moving along. Keep on moving. There's a lot of conversation here.
There's a parking question.
Where?
That one right there. It's actually a good question.
Where?
You just had.
Oh, this one. Okay. The one that I was highlighting and not reading. The one that was under my mouse.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
If parking in a residential area with no signs, how far away from an intersection do you have to be? So, oh God, Sean looks at me for a reason for this question.
I got that ticket. I had it issued to me. It was $50. It was fun to pay.
And anyways, but he's asking if there's no sign.
Oh,
so,
there was no sign for mine.
Right. Well, there was a sign, but you were able to park there.
Right, because I have an accessible permit.
Yes.
So it was a no parking sign, but
you can't be more than 9 meters to an intersecting road.
I was too close.
Yeah. So 9 meters. The more
And
you
$50.
know.
$50.
And $50.
Yes, 9 meters.
Yes. And I'm never going to live that down because Sean specifically called me to confirm. But
is this legal?
And I didn't.
I didn't give you all the information though.
Yeah. But I knew where you were, but I didn't know how close you were. So
I didn't know it all. So
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just now become the running joke. I have a good laugh every time. Yes. Okay. If I park, is this the one? Did we just say that? That's the one we just selected. That was no longer under my mouse. I didn't recognize it. Okay. Boom. Hide that message while I scroll through other ones. What? In the Netherlands, this is a question. In the Netherlands, we have a town called Droten. Everyone thought I moved to there instead of TO. I don't know how that's a question, but I feel better knowing that I know that now.
Yeah.
Question. Live near a school. Many parents park in no-stop area to drop off and pick up. What can I do about it? This is very timely. We're recording a video after this live stream is concluded about this very topic.
Yes. And considering, March break is around the corner and kids will be back to school post-March break, we're doing anyways. So what you can do about it is you can report it to us. Especially you can call parking enforcement and actually speak and make this report to our community liaison officers, because we actually have designated officers that work directly with certain neighborhoods and schools and community complaints such as this, where we will actually go to a school for a week. We'll have it'll be called what is a station detail. And, we go there and we talk to parents, we educate them, we tell them where they can and cannot pick up and drop off. There's generally designated pick up and drop off areas, but they can't be stopping in the no stopping zones, close to crosswalks, in the school bus loading zones. So I would suggest do not go and approach these parents yourself unless you feel comfortable enough, because it can be a lot of I guess, aggressiveness that can come out of that. And you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Call us, report it to us, let us know what's going on, and we will come and enforce and educate and do community engagement accordingly. But I don't suggest you taking that on yourself.
No, definitely don't do it with it yourself. It's
Yeah.
calling parking enforcement. You can go online and report things on the
Yes.
website. It's for immediate parking concerns. I would talk to the school directly if you're right there.
Yeah.
Because maybe they can send stuff home with the kids to educate their parents. But ultimately, a liaison thing, like when we do the back to school stuff, we meet, and police
Yeah.
and parking enforcement officers are like everywhere because we're swooping down to educate before we start really hitting tickets. But
Yeah.
it's a big problem. Everyone wants to go to the same place at the same time because everyone's late because nobody plans ahead, and then we speed and make poor decisions that put kids' lives at risk.
Exactly.
That's the
And
thing.
it's not good. So
Yeah.
Alas.
Job, career question, perfect transition. An hour later than I would have normally done this. Officer versus firefighter. I'm into both, but stuck on what to do. Well, here's the thing. Do you like calendars? Because so if the deal is that everyone loves firefighters, and you get to work out, nap, and cook on duty. But I will say this. You do carry heavy hoses around. You do run into burning buildings. It's a totally different job than police or fire or parking enforcement. Both police and fire have risks, different risks. You're taking risks. There's a risk every day for both, but you get better naps. And you work a totally different schedule. Like I can see
Yeah.
benefits to both. Many police officers say if they could do it all over again, they would have been firefighters. But I don't think anyone would actually admit to that openly. But it's so hard to say. But let me share with you some information. Now, I have friends that are firefighters, and I make fun of them all the time, but I love them. And here we go. If you go to Toronto Police, actually it's TP. It's changed. I don't know why I'm telling you the old website, tps.ca/careers. You can go to this magical website with information galore. If you click on the police constable tab, you can get all the information about qualifications and what you're going to expect. It doesn't really tell you the shift schedule, but tell you about the amount of money that you make, the salary. And there's a lot of movement. You can do a lot of things within the policing role. Like you can become a dog handler, you can become a tactical officer, you can be a traffic officer. Because it's dog, tactical, and then you aspire to be traffic. That's yeah.
horse.
Mountain. There's a lot of options. You can switch between them, so the job can change all the time, and that's really cool. But it's what you want to do. Like one should speak to you more than the other. Do you want to go and arrest people, or do you want to save people from burning buildings? And it's different. I don't know. I couldn't give you any real advice other than go and talk to an officer in a different environment than we are in now and get some real deals. I imagine even the stress is different but similar in that people it can change your life. I do want to talk about civilian roles and becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service because that's what I do. And there's no other jobs listed here. It's still crime analyst, communications operator, and developer, digital team, 3 positions. I think things are closing. No, still another week for some of them. In any case, if you're interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, check it out. Come to our website. See if there is a role that you are interested in because, hey, we're hiring. I got another song for you. This one, I changed. I specifically told it. Originally, I just said, whatever music you think. And then I
Okay.
said, give me something different. And you mentioned it when we said Alabama.
Driving down the open road, windows down and feeling free. But when it comes to traffic rules, we all need a little help, you see. TikTok traffic cop, he's our guide, answering questions with a smile. Educating us on road safety, keeping us safe mile after mile. He's a TikTok traffic cop, keeping roads safe and sound. Telling to the beat, educating all around. Educating all around with his catchy tunes. We're learning while we ride. How we hate things thanks to him. We're reaching the other side.
So totally different, right? I don't know. Like they're all.
I don't know that one. Like, I don't know. We've played so many now. I'm torn.
I haven't heard a lot of folks like weigh in on which one they like, but I like them all. And we can't kind of squish them all together to make one song. And maybe you can. I don't know. I don't know.
Whoa!
Ow!
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We'll survive. We got here. What do we got? Some flagged. Oh, here's some flagged questions. Hey, I got a speeding ticket. Any advice you can give me? What's a good speed limit that's cool? Under the posted speed limit, to a maximum of the posted speed limit. That would be what's okay. There's no other speed. You can't go over the speed limit. It's against the law. Now, Cody Coiled says 90 kilometers an hour. In a 90, then that's okay. But did you get 90 in a 40? That's bad. Yeah, don't speed. It's the best advice I can give you. Boom. A lot of duplicate questions. We talked about this already. Oh, don't know about that. Okay. Fake Alex says, I'm going to guess 0% of cops coming to a full stop at an intersection. I think you know that. I come to a complete stop, and you're required to. And if you're caught on the dash camera, now, first of all, my personal car, I come to a complete stop. In a police car, I absolutely come to a complete stop. Why? There's a camera recording everything, and our supervisors review it. So if we're lights and sirens going to a call, and we must, by law, go through the lights, sirens, complete stop prior to entering the intersection, we got to make sure if we don't do it, we're going to be held accountable. Here's a quick story. My buddy was going to an officer assist call. That's where an officer is saying, help me, I'm in trouble. So people panic. We go fast. He went through a stop sign. He got documented 4 hours of pay and was risking getting a Police Services Act charge. You can't just break the rules. And to suggest that they just do, you're wrong. Okay. Oh, this person's a sexist comment. And on Women's International Women's Day,
hold
too.
on. I just want to read it. We're not going to put it on the screen.
No,
right?
I won't acknowledge that.
Get out of here.
Yeah. They were basically saying that women are inferior to men, which is absolutely not the case. Now, I will say this. Everyone's got different...
International Women's Day, too.
Of
How
all the
rude.
days. Boo. But I've worked with people of all sizes, of all creeds and colors, and everyone has their own skills. And where one person might be really good at talking somebody down, I'm the talker. I'm 6'5" and 300 pounds, and I talk to people. Mm-hmm. Size doesn't matter. And I know people who are ninjas, and they're much smaller than me, and they do less talking. But everyone's got a different skill set, and it's got nothing to do with what it says in your birth certificate. Okay. But I'm always astonished that people still come up with that crap. Okay.
2024.
Yeah.
Move on.
Okay, we talked about this. Morning, I got a question.
We got a couple of these that are
Chapman.
like, I have a question, and then no
Yeah.
question.
And then the question doesn't follow. We're waiting for permission to ask the question. Ask the question. Then Blacklisted Jetta asks the same question a lot. They didn't know we were answering. Devin says, it's true they'll catch up. Can't beat police radios no matter how fast and far ahead I got. That is nothing's faster than a police radio. That is the truth. And chasing people just makes people go faster, and that's dangerous for everybody. Okay. Kelly, wow. Now Kelly's asking the same question that somebody else asked, which was, can you be arrested on witness statements for serious traffic violations or criminal? And to some degree, yes. But generally speaking, traffic or fines committee, usually. Boom.
Oh, is that the question?
Which one?
I think that was the one who was like, I have a question. Are you?
Which one? This one?
Chapman?
There's Chapman's question. If a car turns left on a safe green, the other direction, a driver turns right on a red light. There's almost a question there. Do you mean who's got the right of way?
I think they're referring to, like, say you're turning left in an intersection, green light, and then the other car going the other direction is making a right. So they're going into the respective lanes.
So they're going into the same direction. So
they're going
the right
in-
turn
yeah.
and the left turn are going to the same
So
place.
turning
Okay.
left, turning right, and then
We need like a right-on wipe-off
I know.
board. So here's the deal. In that scenario where there's a lane for each person, the left turning car needs to go into the leftmost lane, the right turning car needs to go into the rightmost lane. The person who has the green light, if they both have green, which we'd expect if they were turning left on a green, both have greens. The vehicle that is turning over a traveled or a lane of traffic for which it is, what am I trying to say? An active, there's a word, and Sergeant Campbell would have this right off the tip of his tongue. But the left turning vehicle has less priority than the right turning vehicle because they are crossing a live lane of traffic.
There you go.
That's probably the words I was looking for. So yeah, the left, but if they could both do it safely, it also requires them to go into the appropriate lane. If they were turning into a single lane road, again, left turning lane has less priority. The right turning lane has the priority. They're not crossing. I'm moving on because I'm just tripping over my tongue with this particular one. But that's the deal. Left lane, less priority than the right turn. I guess that means the right turn has the right of way. Okay.
There you go.
Birdie wants to know if don't you guys have some better things to do rather than handing out tickets since you guys are understaffed. Here's the thing that people don't get. If the traffic was left on its own and parking was left on its own, no one would get anywhere. And maybe that's good for the criminals because they wouldn't go anywhere either. When it comes to the traffic tickets, people get hurt when people are not held accountable for their driving actions. So that's a thing. Let's see here. Yeah. And understaffed, we have staff that are assigned to different divisions, and they do that. We have staff that do what we do, and everyone needs to be there. If we didn't do this, we'd have problems elsewhere. It's a balancing act.
Everything has moving parts in their respective areas.
Except they are specifically saying to
Yeah.
fight crime. People get killed because of driving, too. We had 45 deaths last year on our roads. Over 25 of them, I think it was 25, 26, were pedestrians. What we're doing is very important, both from parking and from policing. Let's see here. Is there a height and limit and lowering limit on cars? Okay. There's one more traffic song, by the way. So there is, generally speaking, 3 inches raised or lowered is probably the maximums. I say generally because at the end of the day, we don't look at the measurement from the ground. Now, there are, there are limits because we're looking for body and frame contact with tires. We're going to have you turn your wheel lock to lock. We're going to be looking for any evidence of contact to the body or the frame. That's one. Measurement specifically, we're not generally looking at. However, in the certification guide, there is a maximum and a minimum height from the ground that the center of your headlights can be. So if you jack it up, you're going to be outside of that. If you lower it, you might be outside of that. And then you're going to be an unsafe motor vehicle for the road, which would be the same thing as if you had contact. So we're going to look for a couple things, but there's no specific number that I can just give you to say, yeah, you can do. People say 3 inches, but it may not be. Excuse me. Robitussin. Got like a frog in my throat. Okay. When is it too late to report a crime, specifically of traffic crime? What do you mean? This is we're talking for 2 hours.
I know.
That's what it is.
I'm like looking at the time, like, holy moly.
This has been long. This is an hour and 43 minutes we've been live. Is it an hour and 41 minutes and 57 seconds? Yeah. Okay. Can you? When is it too late to report? You report it when you can report it. And generally speaking, we can respond to most things. Crime is criminal. I mean, traffic offense, it depends. Like speeding, I saw a guy last week, he was going real fast. Yeah, don't bother because we can't do anything about it. I saw someone driving impaired. Well, we don't have evidence to support that. But, I saw somebody driving and there was blood on their car and damage to the front and he parked it over there. That's something you should let us know. And I'm serious because people get home and we're trying to locate cars all the time. So if you have evidence that someone was involved in a collision and you think there was something up, it looks really suspicious, call it in. Call us. We'd rather take the information and find out it's nothing than to not have that information. If you have video evidence of something, absolutely report it to us. You can do things online. You can call us, all sorts of good things. Why is everybody so concerned about arrested on witness statements? Wow.
I don't know.
Does my Yamaha have a TPS logo on it? It does. It absolutely does.
With the
It is a
headphones.
Toronto police issued Keepa. It's pretty awesome. I love it.
Excuse me.
Okay. And off to work I go. Thank you, Aaron and Sean, for answering my questions.
Thank you.
How you both have a great day and awesome weekend. Thank you, Corey. Much appreciated. And okay, here we go. Dope Daddy says, I'm taking left. She ran red light and hit me. I'm taking a left. She ran a red light and hit me. Okay.
That's her fault. though?
Well,
or I don't know.
So it depends. Yes, they'd be responsible for running the red light, and if you turned without ensuring that the person that was going, the person going straight who ran the red light wasn't stopping, you also possibly turned in when you shouldn't have, because it's possible that you'd be held accountable for that as well, because you have to ensure that your turn can be completed in safety, and if the vehicle was approaching, you should be paying attention to them. So, yeah, it's possible you both get ticketed and share responsibility, which is crazy because they ran a red light, right? Boom, what do we got here?
Someone's like, she's inside. You can finally park downtown.
Chuck
No, you
Brown.
can't. They got
There's-
all my friends out there right now.
It's the whole family of people
Yeah.
that are there out there doing stuff while we're in here. Love you guys. That's Jenny. Thank you very much. Do I need to stop for them since it's considered a vehicle? What are we talking about? I don't know. I don't know what the question was. Do I have to be? Yeah, I'll keep
Oh,
moving.
I saw
Yeah.
that earlier.
We got a hello from Ste. I don't know.
Hello.
Birdie says, hand out tickets to pedestrians and cyclists not obeying rules and making it unsafe to drivers and to crash. I agree with you. When I was on the road, I absolutely did. It's important that everyone follows the rules, not just drivers. You know, we get into this conversation with traffic safety all the time, and very often people are just pointing the finger. It's those people. Well, those people who break laws are those people. I don't care if you're walking, riding, or driving. If you're breaking the law, you deserve to be held accountable. That's just how it is, and that's how it should be. So if you get a ticket, it's probably because you made a boo-boo.
Yep. That's generally how you get tickets.
Let's see here. We have... Neha likes the fact that I called her a peacekeeper in the chat. What do we have here? Lots of conversation. We'll scroll through the lots of conversation. Good morning, guys, from Polar Bear Express.
Good morning. It's not nearly afternoon now.
We're approaching afternoon. How's everybody this morning? It's great. It's happy Friday. If you're new to the channel, we've really gone overtime, which is awesome on occasion. It's a Friday celebration. We can keep the party going a little longer.
Yeah.
It's a party about traffic and policing and parking. You know, if that's your thing, you know, we can put music to it because we have some custom music here. I have one more song, by the way.
One more song.
Yeah, if in case you didn't know who we was, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And beside me,
Aaron Urquhart, parking enforcement officer, aka the parking guru. Guru,
yes,
as Sean likes to nickname me.
everyone needs a nickname.
TPS_bikehard on all platforms.
You know what? I actually have a lower third for you. Here we go. Boom.
Now I'm real special. My name's
You
on
got
the
the lower.
screen.
You got the lower third.
Yeah, we're going back into the southern accent.
I don't know why that happens.
I don't know either, but it's fun.
It's all good. Okay, what do we got here? We got parking off street sidewalk. We talked about this already.
Yes.
My passenger seat is out. I got a bar fridge in its place. Maybe, I mean, it's to keep your Diet Coke chilled. I'm sure that's fine. A little concerned about what would happen in a collision. As long as the bar fridge isn't filled with, you know, the bar accoutrement, the you know, alcohol, and then you're going to be okay. Very interesting setup. Okay. Oh. So he says, now I just need a table to cook on and cut up my food found in the collapsing wash basin. That's
Oh my
too
gosh.
much. You got lots going on there, my
Sounds
friend.
like you want an RV.
Yes. Well, and you know what? There's people who are living in different places now. It's
Yeah.
lots of options. Let's see here. We have, what do I want to look at here? I want to see, how many points are for a stop sign? Why do I think it's 2 points? But it should really be 3. And I haven't looked long enough, stop giving me updates. My phone is talking to me. We said stop sign, yeah? Stop sign. Okay, disobey stop sign, failed to stop. 3 points. It is 3 points. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Is Erin accepting proposals over the talk? I think her fiance would have a problem with that.
No, I am not.
No, I am not. Shut down.
Someone beat you to it.
Fake Alex is being shot down. Yeah, you snooze, you lose. Let's see here. Boo, boo, boo. Do you think that crime will be up this year with the way things are right now? That is something I couldn't speculate. But crime seems to be on the rise. It's one of those things. And we're constantly working to, and Fake Alex says crime isn't up. Reporting of crime is. That's interesting. I think that actually things are up, but I think that we have criminals who are taking new lows or new levels of risk. There's just more happening. So I do think crime is up, and I think that violent crime is up, and it's a scary time for a lot of people, and that's why police do good work every day, and we need police. Okay. Suggestion, pre-recorded videos with reference numbers that you sent people to for frequently asked questions. Fake Alex, you are correct. I like your suggestion. Yeah. So here's the thing on TikTok. I have videos that are up that answer a lot of these questions, but I would never be able to catalog all of those questions.
Yeah.
It's just I have a frequently asked questions playlist on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And there's a cool feature that you can actually make a video and in that video link to another video, but I can't take the link and drop it in a comment. I have to record a video to say, hey, look at that video. Like it's kind of silly.
I have like screenshots of questions that people sent in me on Instagram that I haven't even, I have like 4 pages of all those little tiny question bubbles. But anyways, yeah. Questions for days. And thank you for that. I saw that.
Yes, Aaron, the comment before was, Aaron, you do a great job out there. Keep doing what you are doing, guys.
Thank you.
That's the plan.
DJ Guns.
DJ Guns. Blacklisted Jetta says 18th homicide since the year started is too much. Is that, I don't think we're up to 18 in Toronto. Is that a Toronto stat? I thought we were lower than that. But either way, 18 anywhere.
That's crazy.
There's tragedy everywhere. It's absolutely, well, I guess if you consider the events that took place in other jurisdictions, it's terrible. One loss is too many. Let's see here. Have you ever had to call a tow truck for an illegally parked car? Under what circumstances would you either put a boot on a car or call a tow truck for an illegally parked car? Parking wars!
So in Ontario here, we do not boot vehicles. I'm not sure if we do that in Canada at all, but I just know specifically for here, we don't boot vehicles. We tow them and they get impounded. And have I ever had to call a tow truck for a illegally parked car? Lots of times. Both just during rush hour, we automatically tow vehicles off the street. So in the morning and PM rush hours, and even actually on the weekends in the entertainment districts, like in the middle, like at 2 a.m., they tow vehicles off the street too. And so under what circumstances would you either put a boot on a car? So yeah, like I said, we don't boot. It's an automatic tow. And yeah, it could be if someone on a private property requests a car get towed off of their property, or like I said, any illegally parked vehicle in Toronto can be towed. You know, we go through certain steps. So say if there's a car with an accessible permit that is, parked in a no parking zone, which technically they're exempt from, but they are obstructing the flow of traffic. And I've had this happen before. It was on a one-way street. There was parking on one side, and then the other side of the street was a no parking zone. Mm-hmm. And someone with an accessible permit parked there. And a large wheel-trans vehicle, so a TTC wheel-trans and a garbage truck could not get through the street. So I had to go and tow that vehicle, and it was actually upon a police officer's request that was already there doing something else, investigating on the street. So there's multiple circumstances where we would tow a vehicle.
There you go.
Yeah, so I go on these tangents. I'm sorry.
No, that's the right answers. Here's a good question: what are the consequences for hit and runs? So fail to remain is the hit and run. 200 sub 1 sub A, 7 demerit points, no set fine. where an accident, I don't know why they still have the language of accident. When a collision occurs on a highway, every person in charge of a vehicle or streetcar that is directly or indirectly involved in a collision shall remain or immediately return to the scene of the collision, render all possible assistance, and upon a request given in writing to anyone sustaining loss or injury, or to any police officer or to any witness, his or her name, address, driver's license number, and jurisdiction of an issuance, motor vehicle liability insurance policy, insurer, policy number, name and address, and blah, 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 blah. So then the consequences. Every person who contravenes this section is guilty of an offense, and on conviction is liable for a fine not less than $400 and not more than $2,000, or to imprisonment for a term of not more than 6 months, or to both. In addition to the person's license, permit may be suspended for a period of not more than 2 years. So it's kind of serious. It's serious. What do we got here? Why do police pull me over for nothing in a sports car, but my very illegal farm truck is no problem? You're probably doing something different, and I don't know, you're catching their attention. Maybe they like red, shiny things. I don't know. Your experience may be different than everybody else's. Yeah. They follow up to say, I've been pulled over 9 times in my Mustang, not one ticket, breathalyzed and whatnot. We do check people, and there is a requirement in Canada now called mandatory alcohol screening, and it is dealing with the fact that we can check to make sure that you're sober and require a sample of your breath, regardless of whether or not there is any indication that you have alcohol in your system. Shoot to thrill says, but what if it was factory tinted and right? Would it be legal? So, tinted left and right. So we're talking about tinted windows, which I think this is the first time this episode, which is now nearly 2 hours long. If you have factory tint, the vehicle has to be factory. A factory vehicle has to meet the requirements to be on the road. So it's unlikely that you would have tint that is factory. But the law talks about color coatings or coatings, films, treatments. I can't remember the other word. But I don't know. I'm not aware of any vehicle that is factory tinted. If it's factory, if it's applying a coating or a film, that's not factory. That's just because it was applied by the dealership. So, yeah, no. Where are you going? Like the tinted privacy film in the back windows is generally in the glass, and that's only the back windows that I'm aware of. Anyway, let me know more because I didn't see any intro to that question.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat here live. And people are like, they're very behind. They're only getting the questions from like 11:15.
11:17, yeah.
11:17, yeah. Anyways, sorry. I see a question right here. Do you mind if I just answer it on screen?
Jump on it.
This is from Toronto Road Cams. The question was, are cyclists allowed to use crosswalks without dismounting their bikes? Is that worded better? I guess they asked it earlier in the chat. No, they should be dismounting their bikes.
Not just should, must legally.
Must legally, yes. And I know majority of cyclists do not do this, and they are riding their bikes on crosswalks. And I always dismount because one, I like dismounting; it's fun.
Just because you look cool doing it.
Yeah, you do it on the side and whatever.
Sadly, many cyclists want to be pedestrians when it suits them, cyclists when it suits them, and vehicle drivers when it suits them. But pedestrian crossovers and crosswalks are for pedestrians. Do parking officers have any policing powers above and beyond the average person, excluding tickets?
Sorry, the person had a follow-up question. And do parking officers have any policing power? No. So we're civilians. We're considered uniformed civilians. So I can make a civilian arrest just like any other civilian out there if I witness a crime happening. Have I ever done that on this job? No. I call my friends, the police officers who have the
arrest
tools.
Authority.
Yeah, they have the authority and the tools to do so.
And technically, you have the authority that everyone has, which is that of citizen's arrest. But that is something that we don't want people to do because they're probably going to get hurt and probably going to do something that gets them into hot water. Yeah. Hurt being, I think, one of the most important things. But also, if you're not executing powers correctly, you could be civilly liable, criminally liable. Is bad. Can an officer driving the opposite direction catch you for speeding? The answer is yes. We have moving radar that is capable of measuring your speed, coming or going when we're moving. So that's a thing. Let's see here. Hello, I'm from Michigan. Hello, Michigan. And was just wondering how the whole ticketing process works with that. And you mean, what do you mean? Now, this is 24 minutes after 11 when you ask that question, which means you may or may not be here right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you mean. Like, we see something, we write a ticket, it gets processed by the courts, you get a notice to appear if you choose to fight it, or you can pay it. So I don't know where you're going with this. What happened to registration stickers on license plates? They went away for most vehicles. Not all vehicles, but most vehicles. Motorcycles and passenger vehicles and light trucks, non-commercial, basically don't need to renew their plates anymore. And it was free. Sorry, they have to renew it
Online,
online,
still?
but it's
Yeah,
free
but it's
for 1 or
free.
2 years. And they're actually changing it to be automagical.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you won't even have to manually go online and do it?
My
Oh, cool.
understanding is it is unless they have fines that are unpaid. Isn't it
Right.
terrible? You're sweating in your
No,
ears.
yeah, like my ears are just itchy. I have itchy ears. That just a follow up from that same Toronto road cams. They said so about the cyclist dismounting. So what happens if I don't stop for them? Don't do that. Don't hit.
Don't stop for who?
Don't stop for the cyclists that are on their bicycles riding through a crosswalk.
You're still going to be held responsible. You
Yeah,
can't
you can't
intentionally
just-
hit somebody. It's just no. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Not that I'm condoning it. But you're going to get in trouble.
I'm wondering if it's different if you didn't see them and you're in the midst of your turn and they come off.
They might
the
be
curb.
responsible for their
Yeah.
role, but you can't actively ignore them.
Yeah.
You still have to make efforts to avoid collision. Someone said retaliate against police in their homes because they are obviously not well. But what a silly thing to say.
What?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Hold on, wait. Can we block this person?
Yeah, they don't need to see the show. Obviously, they don't want to be here. Let's see here.
It's weird. My chat is not like on my phone. Isn't keeping
Stem,
up.
I'm going to play
I
a
know.
song while I go to figure out where they are.
Yeah.
I'm driving down the road.
I'll start it up again.
Driving down the open
Oh, next one.
road.
I'm driving down the road. Feeling kinda lost. Got a question about the signs. Don't know where to cross there. I see a TikTok cop with a smile and a wave. Says, hey there, partner. Let me help you stay safe. It's the TikTok traffic cop. Keep the roads clear. With his videos and tips, we got nothing to fear.
This is the first male voice.
Make sure we know the way. The TikTok traffic cop, keeping accidents at bay. He's a TikTok traffic cop, answering the rules. Got a question about the law, just hit him up, he knows. With his catchy tunes and dance moves, we learn every day. The TikTok traffic cop, showing us the way.
I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
They're all kind of fun.
That was like kind of country.
It was very country because
Yeah.
it said country.
Oh.
Modern country upbeat. But that was generated by like not even, it was a sentence and a bit. And it just went off and did AI stuff. And I thought that was really neat. All of those, if you've heard all of them, I'm very curious to know which one you think are the best. Let's see. Beard question was not what? Fake Alex had a question about beard.
Oh, the beer questions. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Fake Alex has been very active in this chat.
Very busy, very busy. But I don't know where where's the beard question? I'm really curious.
I don't know.
now.
I feel like it was way up there, or my barely.
Well,
anyhow.
here's another fake Alex question. My perception is there are barely any ride programs anymore. True or false? False. There's lots of ride programs individually run by divisions as well as globally in the city from traffic services. And every season is ride season. People seem to think that that we don't do it unless it's like Christmas, but
Yeah.
that's not accurate. Let's see here.
Oh.
And I found them and I blocked that
Oh, good.
individually. Yes,
Good.
they're gone.
Needs
Gonzos.
to go.
Alibi. That's alibi. It's alibi. Bye. Okay. How long are you allowed to? We talked about how long you're allowed to street park. I might have gone back. Oh, that's actually
Yeah.
that's the 3 hours in most places unless
Yeah.
otherwise marked.
Yes. So citywide bylaw. I can't talk. Is no more than 3 hours.
We've been doing this for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I think we need to round this out.
I
and
feel
start-
like we do because I'm like,
we got
John
to make
Garner
other
here?
videos. It's time to go home
Yeah.
soon. Like, let's see here. What should I do if I see a police officer doing a traffic violation? You're entitled to report it. That's something you're entitled to do. If you think it's being done wrong, if you think they're doing something illegal, you can certainly make a report. There are different ways of doing it, to the division directly, through the OIPRD. There's going to be a new place to report things soon with the Directorate of Policing. I think they'll possibly handle complaints too. I'm not sure because it's new and it hasn't actually opened for business yet that I'm aware of. Anyway, but what you need to know is this. Police are allowed to speed legally in Ontario. They're allowed to exceed the posted speed limit in the lawful execution of their duties, regardless of whether or not their lights and signs are active. That is something you need to understand. They're allowed to break minor traffic rules in the execution of their duties. They are allowed to use their cell phones, computers, and two-way radios while they are operating a motor vehicle. That's permissible. There's exemptions under the law for this. They're allowed to park where they need to park in order to do their job. So if it's something involving those, I wouldn't waste a lot of time. But if you really feel strongly about it, by all means, make the report. It'll be investigated. And if there's something unlawful that's being done, they'll be held accountable. That's just what happens. That's it. And then infamous, I guess directly after this question, they said, he won't acknowledge it and then acknowledge. I don't know what this, it's out of context. Somebody infamous. Oh, the same person. The same person seems to think that they, they said that we won't acknowledge and then acknowledge. And then they said that they identify as a swine. If they put a lot of emojis there, they feel strongly about their identity. Okay. Okay, moving on. Please don't call opinion and eyewitnesses' experience wrong. I don't know what we're talking about. What should I do? We talked about that.
Oh, gosh.
Are police officers allowed to have illegal tint on their personal vehicles? Obviously, the answer is no. Illegal tint is illegal tint because it's illegal. Just saying. Let's see here. Oh, in my home country in Iceland, they just take your license plates and drive to your house and meet. Like for parking or for driving? When? I mean, we take license plates for certain things too. Let's see here. Oh, there's lots of, okay, this is old stuff. So, hey, look at that. ASKaTrafficCop is back. Now he wants to get a donut and bacon. Oh, see, he's making people get hungry.
Yeah.
So maybe this is just, he's asking people to go out and hang out for donuts with bacon. There are places that sell that. Is there a height limit? We talked about that. Moving on. He says, seriously, the emojis are making me hungry. Stop it. That's awesome, ASKaTrafficCop. Let's see here. Talked about this. Oh, Steve says, you need to consider a career in radio after you retire. That you never know. Who knows? I'm not retiring anytime soon. Not that I'm aware of anyway. Unless someone sends me a letter saying, you're retiring. I guess I don't. Yeah. But who knows? That would be fun. I think we could have a lot of fun on the radio. Is the radio a thing? We're broadcasting right here to hundreds of people. It's great.
Yeah. And Sean does go on the radio, and I've gone on the radio too with him, with Jerry Agar.
Jerry Agar on AM
News Talk 1010, CBC I've done.
Yeah, well, television too. And then AM 640, that's, of course, it's 640 Toronto.
Right.
Yeah, on with them all the time. We do radio, just not, a full show. Unless we make a full show. That would be cool. Okay, scrolling through. I think, can we catch up? We're more than 50% through. Officer, we talked about that. Ryan, the thin white line interceptor says, it depends. Hashtag it depends. And Linda says, hi heroes and happy Women's Day to all females out there. Thank you both for the lessons.
Thank you.
ASKaTrafficCop says, hi Aaron.
Hi, ASKaTrafficCop.
Okay. We got Toronto Road Cam says, what's wrong with my question? I don't know what question you asked.
That was the one about not stopping for the crosswalk cyclist.
Oh. He just read it and they didn't answer. Maybe we might have just, oopsie dude. I don't know. I don't remember.
I saw those questions on the chat. We've already answered it. So we can move on.
Okay. Thin white line interceptor. Greetings, Aaron and Sean. Stay safe out there today. I'm going to stay safe in here today. I'm not actually going outside. I'm on a no outside today, except to drive home. Is jaywalking illegal still? So jaywalking isn't a charge here. There is no charge for jaywalking too. The deal is that crossing mid-block is legal. If there's no crosswalk close by, you don't have to use it. If you are, I can't remember if it's 50 meters or 10 meters away. There's a number, and maybe I can. But it's a bylaw, so I can't search it easily. And there's a bylaw, a City of Toronto bylaw for crossing outside of it, in proximity to a crosswalk or something. It's not common. It's not a good idea. Jaywalking or crossing mid-block is an absolute high-risk situation.
Yeah, don't do it.
Although there are some pedestrian advocates, or it has to be pedestrian advocates because walking advocates, isn't it, who say that it's safer
To jaywalk?
to cross mid-block. And I guess the statistics would support that because at an intersection there are more collisions involving pedestrians because there's more people using that intersection, so the stats are skewed.
Oh, okay.
But if you're going to cross where everyone knows you're coming. There's a high chance of a pedestrian being there. Drivers are looking for you. Where do we have the most fatalities? It's not in an intersection. It's mid-block.
Yeah.
So it's because people are higher speed, they've accelerated, they don't see it coming, and bad things happen. What is this? Oh, what can I do if I see someone around an apartment building parking lot parked in a handicap spot? Am I allowed to call and report it? Or is it only the building management allowed to call and report it? Anyone can call and report that one. It's a signed bylaw, right?
Yeah, that's a signed bylaw. If it is on private property, though, however, like you would need to call us to come and enforce.
You won't patrol there.
Unless your own security, because some building security, they are MLEO trained, so they are able to write their own city tickets on private property because they've been authorized to by the property management. But if not, you can call us and we will come and investigate and enforce accordingly.
Here's a good question. What age can a child sit in the front seat? What age can they go into a booster seat or be out of a booster seat sitting in back? So here's the thing. I'm going to suggest two things. One, back seat is best until 14, regardless of when they can legally step, because there's no seating position that requires a child to be in the back seat by law. There's no ticket for front seat. But if you have a two-seater car, there is no back seat. Front seat's legal, just not safe. So if you have to be in the front seat, child seat or after child seat, put the seat in the farmost back position away from the airbag, because airbags can kill or seriously injure smaller folks. Children, especially whose skeletal structure has not completely formed yet, will not take the same impact. Anyway, now in terms of booster seats and transitioning there, out of a booster seat, 8 years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9" is the legal requirement. Although I would probably hang out and wait longer. You bought the seat, you can use it until they met the requirements or the limits of the seat itself. Don't be in a rush. And then I would say go to TrafficCop.ca, scroll to the bottom for useful links, and then check out the government website, which I've got a link to, which explains all the transition periods between different types of seats. And that's the answer for that. How long does it take to be a detective when first starting? So I worked in the detective office. See, here it's not, you don't become a detective and you're not a detective forever. Our rank structure is different. Every police service is different. A detective constable is a police constable like myself working in a detective office. That's based on a transfer, either a lateral or permanent. And while I'm in that office, I'm a detective constable. When I move out of that office, like I am out of that office now, I'm back to being a police constable. When you are a sergeant on the road, which is the next level, next rank up, it's a supervisory role. If you're a sergeant on the road, you're a sergeant. If you're a sergeant in the detective's office, you're a detective. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you are a staff sergeant on the road, or in an office, or whatever your capacity is as a staff sergeant, if you're assigned to the detective office, you are a detective sergeant. Have I completely confused everybody?
I get it. Because I'm familiar with the ranking system here. But
well, I assumed that you would.
I would hope I would.
Oh, this user is a numpty. They said that.
Yeah. You can.
Okay.
Imagine how much better you could do with your time if you weren't like just spewing hate out into the world for no reason.
But they think that they actually are so offensive that they've somehow impacted our day, because we've never heard a cop joke or a threat or one of these silly things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but Frank jumped in because apparently Frank, and user who doesn't have enough time to put an actual username in. Yeah. That's okay. We report all these things for hate. It's great. Oniha says the best thing. I hope you have the day you deserve. That's possibly the best
Thank you,
best
Mija.
response.
Yeah.
Yes. And oddly enough, they've probably had a lot of days they deserve, which is why they hate cops.
They're walking around with that kind of attitude. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. If you have a diesel truck, an older diesel truck that is stock, and you're towing something that is heavy, and you're trying to get up to speed, the truck has a lot of black smoke coming out of the exhaust. Can you get pulled? You can get pulled over for excessive smoke. Absolutely. We're going to investigate. If we think there's something mechanically wrong with it, if you're creating too much smoke, yeah, you can get pulled over for anything. You can get pulled over simply to find out if you're a licensed driver, if you're sober, if you're insured, if your vehicle is safe to be on the road. And again, if you're spewing a lot of smoke, that's potentially a problem. Zrill says, "What up, Shano?" Toronto road camps. You keep saying, "Answer my question," but I don't think. Oh, we did.
Yeah, we
totally answered this one.
I
Okay.
did that one.
We
yeah.
talked about it. So if you missed it, I put it on screen now. Toronto road cams. Are cyclists allowed to use crosswalks without dismantling their bike? It's worded. Is that worded back? We covered it already, and this is just time delay that we missed it. So it's totally. They're not allowed to ride in a bicycle. A bicycle cannot be ridden in a pedestrian crosswalk.
Yes.
It's for pedestrians.
Exactly.
If I'm 15, here. Billy Wang wants to know, if I'm 15, I go to the U.S. and take the permit test and come back to Canada, can I still drive with a U.S. permit in Canada? You must be 16 years old to drive in Ontario. Now, if you go to BC, maybe they'll let you drive in BC where you can drive at 14 or 15 with a learner's permit, but no.
I didn't know that. It's
You
14
must
over
be
there?
16. It depends on where you're. I think Alberta's 14 or 15. But that's for learner's permit, and I think you still have to be 16 to drive unsupervised.
Okay.
But in Ontario, you can't even drive supervised until you're 16. So it doesn't matter where you're from, what license you have, it doesn't change the rules here. Why does police give ticket to fulfill a quota and use it as income for the city? They don't. At least they don't here. Maybe some other places do, and we don't. And I'm not aware of anywhere in Canada that does. My Kia has tint that was applied at the factory, possibly by the windows in the rear of the vehicle. So rear seats, rear passenger, rear cargo, rear window could be dark, but there's no tint, at least not illegal tint, beyond that of what's legal for the road, applied to the windows left and right, directly left and right of the driver or the windshield, because that's the ones that we're really talking about. That's what's regulated, and if it was applied at the dealership, does not mean the same thing. Okay. What's going on here? Okay. Is there another account that deals with criminal activity? Toronto Police has an account. It is not active, although I have it on good authority that they want to become active. So maybe there will be a day when we have more subject matter being discussed. It would be awesome.
An actual Toronto Police wide account. Yeah. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Glam Queen says, "Hi from Mississauga." Hi, Glam Queen. Let's see here. Okay. Happy Friday from Victor. We got a thing said, please check out the questions from YouTube. All of them come into the same place. So we're seeing them all.
Yeah. Gosh,
Can you
it's
check
12:15.
questions?
My
Yeah,
goodness.
we got to go.
I gotta use the washroom.
Okay. Okay. We're going to stop at doing new questions, but we're going to do dad jokes. So dad joke number 1. It is from Akela. Why do cows have bells? Because their horns don't work.
Lame.
How do you jump higher on a water bed? Fill it with spring water. Now, this is actually a Yogi Berra quote. It's, I can see how he, referring to Sandy Koufax, won 25 games. What I don't understand is how he lost 5. I have no idea because I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not a Yogi Berra guy. I read these because Akela provides them and he likes Yogi, but I don't get that one. Lots of things. I get a lot of value out of some of them, and that was one of them. How do you make an egg roll?
I feel like I heard this one recently. But
You push it. Okay, we got. Do we have any other dad jokes?
I don't have any.
I used to have a calendar. Now I rely
Yeah.
on calendars provided. Boom, boom, boom. I think we're good. I think we are good. Scrolling down. No, Yeah, we're good. We covered it all.
Okay.
Listen, it has been a slice. We have those new songs. If you had a request right now as to your favorite song, I'd replay that one. Otherwise, we can just, let's just for the good. Yeah, this is the best dad joke. My favorite. What do you call a fish with no eye? Psh. And what do you call a spider with 12 eyes?
I don't know.
Spider. Yeah, that was yesterday's. Thank you, Neha. Okay, I said we were going to do it. Let's do this. Let's create the.
Oh, play Aaron P.
Yes,
Okay.
we're going to make it. We haven't made it yet.
All right.
So, a song about Aaron, the parking guru of Toronto. What style of music would you like your song to be?
Let's go with pop.
Okay. Pop trending.
Maybe patrols on bicycle, maybe.
That's a good idea. Parking guru
Toronto.
who rides a bicycle and educates Torontonians about Toronto about the parking laws so they don't get tickets.
All right, I'm excited.
And let's see here, and keeps traffic moving. Okay. Pop trending, 80s, 90s, current?
Sure.
Which one?
Current. Yeah, just say current. Yeah, I guess.
Current prop
Current pop.
trending style. Male or female?
Female.
Okay. We have no ideas. No idea what this is going to do. Okay. We hit the button.
How long does it take?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Wow.
9, 8. I'm excited. Still thinking.
I'm excited too.
In the meantime, the question was, can you park a motorcycle on the street without paying for parking if you're in a space that permits
And you're
it?
in green P, yes.
In
You don't have
green
to
P,
pay.
yes. And newsflash from Michaela Draconis, I don't get some Yogi quotes. Okay, here's. Are we ready for this?
Are we ready?
Parking guru riding on a bicycle, educating Toronto about the parking laws. She's got the power, she's got the knowledge, keeping traffic moving. She's the one to acknowledge. You're the queen of the street. Take your bicycle and your parking fees, and make sure everyone abides by the rules. Got 'em getting tickets playing that. Highway through the streets of Toronto.
I like that. Aaron's on a roll is what it's called.
Teaching everybody about the parking game. She's a guru, everyone knows her name.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Erin, parking guru on a bike. Educating, she's doing it right.
I gotta make a video to this. This is insane.
Really do parking, getting tickets inside. With Erin leading the way, traffic's moving tight.
That's awesome.
I really like the second
That one is really good.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to download that for you. That's it. Okay.
Oh my gosh, love
that
that.
was and according to Neha, that's it's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
But that was good. Okay, it's your new theme song. I love it.
Yeah, this has actually been one of my favorite lives I think we've done.
This is awesome.
Fun. Yeah.
Well, now the problem is now I have to have new music every single
Every
live,
week?
otherwise it won't be the same. Listen, it has been a slice. Friday like no other. This was really our first FriYAY party.
Yeah.
This was much
We had
much
music.
yeah.
We were vibing.
It was good. It was good. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in and interacting. Even the trolls have made it good today. It has been a blast. We will see you next week. I'm back on Monday, and we'll do it again. And I think you should come back again.
I should. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? Let's. Next week's March break, is it?
It is.
Is it?
We got to do a lot of education about parking,
yeah.
about safety. We got to do a video right now. We record for
Yep.
that topic, but we'll see you soon. If you're going to drive, drive safely, drive sober, park legally. What else can we tell people to do? Ask people to do. We tell doesn't ask tell.
And happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
Whoop.
Oh wait. No, sorry. This is the Happy International Women's Day button. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.